hear me. God dog it. I was working so hard to have a great show with no mess ups. I've just gone through a whole intro. It was so classic. This reminds
We
me of
wouldn't be
that.
science and satire without tech problems.
Man, I'm telling you, I am so satire right now. Okay, so let me go. Let me repeat everything I just said in a less monotone voice. See, that was the warm up. I had to get rid of all the nervousness, all the crazy jitters that I had in that time when I was muted. And now that we're not muted anymore, let's have a conversation. Guys, let's welcome first Caitlin Chloe, our newest member to Ding Force. Everybody put your hands together. And if you're in the chat, ding the crap out of her right now.
Ding, 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 ding.
And as most of you know and can see, we now have a new like kind of notification method. As Paul Reap and Rapid X had just seen, anytime we have a new member or anytime we have a donation or a super chat, your super chats and everything will be on will now show up on the screen. So thank you very much. That way, whenever we put out these videos, people who watch them who were not there live, they can see who's all donating and some of the comments that were made, because you guys are making some great comments. So let's start by welcoming our two guests tonight. One of them's not a guest. He's a regular here now because of the science and satire. Fight the Flat Earth. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm having a really good day. A good couple of weeks with the kids for Easter holidays and stuff. But I am glad to now be sitting down and with you lovely people to point and laugh at some idiots, which is always a nice thing to do.
Bad ding.
Yeah.
Got my
I
ding
know some
ready.
people in the chat asking about my t-shirt, my interesting journalism t-shirt. I will put a link in the chat if anybody would like to get one of the interesting t-shirts to commemorate Jeranism's proving the curvature of the globe.
All right. And then, of course, our honored guest tonight. So honored because, dude, I say this every time, GE. You are the best creator in our genre by far. And it's not a matter of just quality of the content. It's that you put out so much stuff and there's no drop in quality.
Yeah.
It's not one of the quantity versus quality or quality versus quantity arguments. It's quality and quantity. And if you want to be a successful YouTuber, and I consider myself somewhat successful, you need to put people like GE, you need to pay attention to channels like him and make them your role models. If you make people like GE your role models, then when you're working and doing your channel and you kind of base your format on what he's doing, keeping it quality, and as well as putting the quantity out, you're going to be successful. So GE, welcome to the stage, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know how to follow up that entrance there. I mean, I really appreciate all those kind words. I mean, if you paid attention to the channel lately, you'll notice like a lapse in my ability, which actually I've got to go real quick. I'm sorry,
Oh,
guys.
yeah, no, go ahead. That was what you need to take care of. Go take care of that. We'll see you back when you get back.
Yeah, I've got to say about like Godless Engineer, the amount of content that he puts out is something that astounds me, because I struggle to, like, it takes me 3-4 days to make a video, yet like in that 3-4 days, GE put out 2 or 3 videos and I'm like, man, I want to be that good.
But it goes back to saying I could do a video a day. Shit, I know so many flat earthers that put out 4-hour long videos a day, and guess what? There's no quality to it. It's not about that. It's when he does it, he comes back, and if you watch it, it's like, damn, when does he ever have the time to slack off? Because apparently he never does, because he's always on point. He's always scientific about it. He always provides the proofs. He's
got a full-time job as well, and he does all the podcasts and everything, and he's on non-sec every week. Like, I'm in awe of Godless Engineer, and along with like you and Slyman Dan, he was one of my inspirations for starting this channel.
Yeah. I wasn't even exposed to him until after I started the channel, and after I had become like like into the whole debunking scene, then I would start seeing some of his videos, because he doesn't just put out flat earth videos. Like, I put out nothing but flat earth videos. I mean, you might get an atheist video from me every once in a while. I'm looking into doing other things, but I primarily do flat earth. He does everything. So there is nothing that escapes his plethora of knowledge, I guess you would say.
Who are we talking about now?
My mom.
Oh, okay.
No, man, we're talking about you.
Yeah, we're just talking about how we're amazed that you managed to put out so much content that is always of such quality. And we know you've got a full-time job and you're on non-sec like every week. You know, I struggle to get out 3 pieces of content a week. You know, I want to be as good as you and obviously as organized as you are.
Well, you know, honestly, for the longest time, the way that I did it was I would stream my videos on Facebook and then I'd cut them up and put them on YouTube. And so that helped me generate content because I had a good like hour and a half block that I would record like twice a week. And so that gave me like the comment videos. I would generate those during that time, and then also response videos. And then sometimes I would do 2 videos in a single thing so that I could generate even more content from one single like recording session. But a lot of times, you know, it's just about like batch recording and getting like a lot of content in the backlog for you to sort of edit up whenever you get a chance. And so that's generally how I go about it is just recording, you know, in batches and having a lot of content in my backlog to actually edit up, you know, whenever I have free time.
Oh, see, man, you're organized. Like, I can't do that shit. And you get time to play video games. Like, I've barely touched my Xbox since I became a YouTuber.
Yeah, how's that Division 2 going?
Yeah, hold on one second.
Yeah, take your time. That's the second time I've asked the question and he's run from the question. Deflection is part of admittance to being wrong, by the way. So what do you think about Division 2?
Division 2 has been really fun. I've really enjoyed it. Of course, I play with KC, and we've been playing together since the very beginning. And I mean, we're almost at the end of the actual like main game, and so we're almost in the end game. But it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of grind in it. You have different sections, so you go to a new section, you open that up, and you've got a lot of like projects to complete and stuff like that. So I mean, it's got a lot of different things that you can do to complete these things, and loot just pops everywhere. Like it's got one of the better loot systems of the recent like looter shooters, I would say. I mean, I think that like Borderlands 2 are still, you know, the gold standard basically for like looter shooters. But as far as like compared to what I've experienced like with Destiny and Destiny 2, I think that it has a very refined loot system where it pops a lot of loot and you're able to use that loot to increase your loot either through crafting or through buying things at the vendor. Last time in Division 1, like I never saw a reason to really go to the vendor, but this time it seems like essential, especially in the very beginning, for you to go through it and buy from the vendor. And this time it seems like, you know, grinding through side missions and stuff like that is a good way to get loot. But anyways, we're not here to talk about video games, right?
Well, we're here to talk about.
I just remember in the first division, I was that guy that on multiplayer would just wait by the extraction point and kill everyone, take their loot, and then extract.
Yeah, that's what we used to do when I was playing. I'd forget going to the crafter, just kill somebody trying to drop off loot. But speaking of video games, I'd like to transfer that into our let me go over to my settings real quick so I can tell everybody what the final outcome on all the donations were and everything for our live stream with Conspiracy Cats. So we did receive one final donation yesterday for $20. I don't have the name of the person on hand, but the first day we did $91.33 in donations. So we did $111.33 in donations, and $48.40 in super chats, and that doesn't include my donation, and that doesn't include Conspiracy Cat's donation, which when it's all combined, we're going to be excuse me, when it's all combined, we're going to be over $200. We're going to be right at about $225 to $250. So I think we've decided we're going to donate it to Simon Dan's charity, because he's doing a marathon for a charitable marathon. So
yeah, he's running the London Marathon.
Do you know what charity that's for?
I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it's got a link to it on his page.
Okay, yeah, I'll get in there and find it. But yeah, we decided to give the money to that, or I decided, I guess. I'll wait for him to agree or disagree, but I'm pretty sure he's going to want to give it to Simon Dan's charity. But yeah, we're going to donate all that to one charity or another. But thank you guys, everybody that was involved in that, everybody that made their way through to stop by and say hi, everybody who threw $2 in there just to throw $2 in there. Thank you very much. Believe it or not, man, we truly appreciate every single dollar that you guys gave us. So thank you again. And I felt like it was successful. I beat Cats. I think it was 9-1.
He said he let you win.
He let me win. Oh my gosh, what a liar, man. He's so narcissistic, I swear. Like he won't even admit that he lost. He just says, there's no possible way for me to lose, so I just let you win. That's what always, man. That's just the way he is. He's
okay.
Like, NASA's got to his head, guys. When NASA reached out to him and said, hey, we're bringing you on as a confirmed shill. We're gonna start sending subs your way. That his head got big, guys. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't control the size of his head. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's huge. I can't control that. So
I'm just putting in the chat the link to the charity that Simon Dan is supporting, and Simon Dan's Just Giving link. So just bear with me, I'll pop that in.
Yeah, if you'll shoot that to me through Discord also, so that way I can get the money sent to the right people, because I need to do that. But okay, so we're gonna get on with today's show. I guess we'll go ahead and skip the first intermission since we started with no audio on my end for the longest of times, and we'll go to So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna open up the chat for questions for GE. Our chat is ruthless, bro. They're gonna put your feet to the fire here. So guys, if you have any questions for Godless Engineer, please put them in the chat, and we will read them to him right now. Mozart Owls missed. Yeah, Daniel Pratt. That saga's not over yet, guys. It's
by a long shot.
It's just a matter of being patient and figuring out what the next move is. It's not a good move if you take one step forward and that one step ends up taking you two backwards. So
I haven't forgot that Daniel Pratt called me a cross-eyed mongoloid retard. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's not getting away with anything. In fact, he's probably going to get the worst of all Team Skeptic videos for his next one. Because as much as I don't like, as much as I'm trying to calm down my cussing and being in your face and whatnot.
What?
Well, not so, well. Okay, so did I tell you about my my YouTube experience with like a friend of mine who told me about the changing terms of service before they changed?
No.
Okay, so he came to me and was like, "Hey, man, YouTube's terms of services are changing, and what you're doing is now can be like on the fringe of online bullying, because it's not about calling them a fucking idiot. It's about being abrasive, and that's kind of my persona. I'm in your face. I'm abrasive. You don't like it, what I say something about it, They say it to my face. And he came to me, he was like, hey, be careful, because some of the stuff you do would be considered on the fringe of the new terms of service as being bullying and harassing. He's like, if enough people say, oh, he's bullying, then they're just going to say, well, those people must know. So I put out a video where I censored the whole video. I took all the cussing out of it. And he comes back to me, he's like, dude, I didn't tell you to fucking take all the cussing out. I just said be less abrasive. Be less confrontational. Like, don't... because I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of people going down with like putting out similar content. Like there's channels that are actually going completely down, either losing monetization or being deleted entirely, based on YouTube's algorithm saying that it's repetitive content, that it's not engaging enough. So you put out video games and you put out same video game over and over and over, and you get no real interaction, then they're going to shut down your channel because you're just putting out the same video games over and over and over, even if it's different content each time. So when he told me
I get
that,
called bully all the time, but you know, it's just kind of what we do. You know, the fact is, I'm called fight the flat earth. I'm not called hug and kiss the flat earth and stroke it gently. If there's a flat earther, I'm going to call them a fucking moron, because they are absolute morons with so limited intellect. That's all that they're good for. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to change who I am and what my channel is to please a few people who don't like me swearing and stuff.
Well, I stopped swearing for that first one, but after that, after he came back and he was like, "Don't do that." He's like, that doesn't sound like you, you know? I was like, yeah. Well, I just didn't want to get, you know, hit with any community strikes or lose my channel. He said, no. He said, if I'm getting on there and basically trying to online fight you, that's going to be a violation of their terms of service moving forward. So I'm trying to find this sweet balance between using my vulgarity as a tool instead of a crutch, so that it's more of I'm using it more in a way that I could swing for the home run pitch, you know, like to really knock the point home. But it's definitely not going away. They're getting called fucking idiots.
Well, okay, so I have a big problem with the new like terms of service and like the community guidelines, I guess, of YouTube, because like I have a wide range of videos, like we were talking about before, and I recently released a video where there was a creepy Jesus that was basically seducing women into Christianity, and I made the entire video sexual as fuck. Like I said it intensely like sexual things in jest of the video, right? That got greenlit. But yet whenever I make a calm, collected, no, almost like nearly no cursing, just intellectual video about how Jesus probably didn't exist in history, and that gets like not suitable for all advertisers. And you know, it's weird, this like very odd line that they have, because this line, it seems to move with personal opinion, because you have to like request a review and it gets manually reviewed, and then it's up to that person as to whether or not your video gets greenlit. And it's just very arbitrary kind of rules and arbitrary kind of things.
Have you had one that was yellow that did not get greenlit after manual review?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had any yet. And I don't, it's so weird. Like, I don't understand. This guy came and told me that my content's fringe enough that I will probably get more yellow ad warnings. And every one of my videos is green. Every one of them, when I first posted. The last one, which was weird because I really didn't go too hard on that Karen B lady. I called her an idiot a few times, like 23. I missed one, and let's call it 24, okay? Let's call it a half century, guys. We hit a half century on her. So, but I got the monetization audit on that, and then I submitted it, and within 2 minutes, my video hadn't even gone public at that point. Within 2 minutes, they greenlit it. And I was like, wow, that's crazy.
The only video that I've had that is refused monetization is the one you and I did together about Nathan v. Nathan.
Oh,
and I don't even think that one's a particularly bad one.
Speaking of which, guys, we are going probably to have Nathan Thompson and JM Truth TV coming back on tonight. We're going to hold them accountable. We're going to hold them accountable for some of the things that were said during the non-sex show. And they said they're going to hold us accountable too. So while we do this with GE to begin, this is just the opening to the show. He obviously has the the throne to sit on for the whole show. He is the guest of honor, and everybody else can eat shit. But
there is a couple of questions for GE.
yeah,
One of
hold
them
on.
is
Let me start.
engineer.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, let me start with Jimmy Callanan's because that was the first one I saw, and I've been waiting. How big is
go
it,
on.
GE? How big is it, bro? Come on, bro.
I'll say this. It's definitely hard for me to get around.
He can't wear corduroy.
Yes, honey, I'm talking about my dick online.
He can't wear. If he wears corduroy with a penis that big, it'll start a fire between his kneecaps, guys. Come on, he's got to be careful.
Oh man. Another question was, where is it? Godless Engineer, what is your one pet conspiracy theory that you like or sort of believe in?
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of people liken the mythicism to a conspiracy theory, but it's really not conspiracy at all. So I don't really have any conspiracy theories that I really buy into, I guess, because like one of the key things about conspiracy theory is that it's not proven and that it's almost incapable of being proven. I think that there are some situations where I guess maybe a conspiracy has been proven, but I would think, but it like just if it's labeled a conspiracy theory, I'm not gonna, I'm not going to accept a conspiracy theory as truth or believe in it or anything like that.
Fair enough.
Christ Buncher says, Godless Engineer, how's your marriage so far? I want to know that too. How's it going? I mean, are y'all threatening each other yet, or?
Oh no. Marriage is going awesome. We have the best marriage on the planet.
Wait, I'm married.
That's what everybody who's unhappy says, bro. You gotta find a new way of answering that.
No.
Why are you sending me a message saying that was a lie? It's horrible.
No, it's really great. I mean, we were happy before we got married, and we're just even happier now. But right now it's a little frustrating because Casey's having to change her name everywhere, and so
Yeah,
other than that, though, everything's great.
Is it gonna be KG from now on?
No, well,
Or
no,
KE?
I mean, Casey's her online persona, and so it's different in real life, but she is going with the Gleason last name.
Are you trying to tell me that she's a Lego superhero as well?
She superhero, yes.
Well, she has to put up with GE. She has to be some kind of superhero.
All right, and then we have Chrismer.
I mean, we can turn him off.
Chrismer says, how does it feel to be so awesome as well as sexy and have a lovely singing voice and just have all that going for you, Godless Engineer? How does that feel?
I mean, what can I say? I mean, it's great. Nowhere to go but down.
And Tifa Ion says, GE, what programming language do you use?
Mainly right now I'm using C#, like for work and stuff, but I'm proficient in just about any language out there, with the exception of like Fortran and its derivatives and like Ada and those types of things. I haven't done really anything with Ruby, which I know is kind of an not online, but like server side sort of coding language. I've done a little bit with Python, and I've done a lot with like PHP, and I've worked a lot with databases and stuff like that. So usually it's better, like it's easier for me to list off the things that I don't have experience with than the ones that I do.
William Sign says the Jesus porn video was pretty fun. That was an interesting live stream of yours. But that's like pretty much every live stream, though. Jesus porn, Jesus cock, Jesus dick. It all happens, man. It happens, guys.
There's quite a lot of requests for G to do some singing. Someone wants him to sing the ding-a-ling.
like my ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling. I don't know the words to my ding-a-ling.
Beautiful. I mean, how's that number one already?
Yeah, right.
I know. Someone's gonna like cut that dubstep, remix it and shit, and it's just gonna sound way better than I actually play.
Now,
my new ringtone.
Now, we do have a question that we get a lot to the guests that come on, and I want to know this too. What made you start your channel? You have lots of people listening right now that absolutely love you, Godless Engineer. What made you start your channel? We all want to know. Starting with your biggest fan, me.
Yeah. Godless Engineer, that brand originally started out as just a Facebook page where I would post memes and like atheist related stories and stuff like that. And so like one day somebody lobbed in a very derogatory fashion that like, oh, it's easy to sit behind a Facebook page without your face out there and say this shit. And so I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'll put my face on camera. And so I made like a couple response videos to a few things and I put it up there and I'm like, see, motherfucker. And so I mean that's pretty much how it started. I mean, I was just like, I can make videos too. And I had like a video camera laying around that was shit. But that didn't stop me from making a fuck filled rant video. And that's how I started out. And I just kept making videos from there on. I remember one of my earliest videos was I recorded it just after the first episode of the newest Cosmos series.
Yeah.
Because somebody, like a bunch of Christians, had a big problem with Cosmos. And him and Meta released a blog where he listed like a whole bunch of like, not screen caps, but like they were links to people's tweets on his blog about it. And so I pulled all of those things and I recorded it and edited it that night and put it up. And then the next day, I want to say it was like less than 24 hours later, TJ Kirk, he recorded the exact same list of like tweets and responded to the exact same list of tweets. And so then I got a barrage of people that were like, you're just blatantly copying The Amazing Atheist now. And I'm like, my shit was up a day before his. How could I have copied it? And so it's like, oh shit, you're right. My bad. And so, I mean, that was at the time, that was my biggest video, which was, I think like it got like 8,000 views at the time, which now I've got a video that's nearly 800,000 views.
Damn.
On. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a long journey, but it's been well worth it.
How long have you had your YouTube channel up?
I want to say that I opened it probably in like 2014 or something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't really make anything of like regular kind of content back then. It was just whenever I had a wild hair up my ass and I wanted to make a video, I would write up a script and make a video. It wasn't until not last year, but maybe the year before last year, 2016, is when I kind of started getting serious about like a schedule. And I think at that time I was doing like 3 videos a week. And then we eventually added the Daily Bible podcast to that. And so that just left pretty much 1 day a week where I wasn't doing something. And so I was like, I'll just throw up something then too. And so now, I've upped the production value significantly, so it's a little harder for me to stay on my schedule, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah. I do want to address something in the chat. The Casual Spaceman asked me, do I look anything like my channel avatar? Yes, I look exactly like. I pretty much took a picture in the mirror, and that's my...
Wait, I thought that was a picture.
It is. It's a picture in a mirror of myself.
I've seen your mouth moving and stuff. That's not possible.
And the Casual Spaceman, he did donate in the live stream. I do appreciate it. He also said that in his comment for his donation to announce that he has a new channel. So everybody, please swing over to the Casual Spaceman's channel. Give him a watch. Give him a like. If you like his content, give him a subscribe. I mean, it ain't going to hurt nothing. So it'll support.
He mentioned me in his first video. I felt warm and fuzzy inside.
All right, so we're going to get on to the, we're going to move on to this video that I have posted for us that nobody's seen yet. Godless Engineer hasn't seen it. Fight the Flat Earth hasn't seen it, but we're going to watch it together, guys, and y'all are going to laugh. Give me 1 second to get myself to the right screen. Okay, so y'all ready for some crazy and some stupid? I hope so.
Yes, I am totally ready. My butthole is puckered.
All right, let me get this new screen in here.
I didn't want that image in my head.
I'm cleaning, and this is a really sad day for me today. And it's a very sad day for a lot of Christ followers, because today our government decided that everything that God created his church to be, as man, as woman, Adam and Eve, 5 justices decided that God was wrong.
Right, stop. My God, like, she's so emotional about the fact that people have said, no, we don't need to refer to God. Like, why is this affecting her so much?
Yeah, it's this one. I remember this woman. I remember seeing her video, and she's just fucking. She's got Jesus so far up her ass that I mean, it's not even funny.
How about you show me some evidence for your God?
All right, so here we go.
Now is the time that Christians have a voice. You know, I hear a lot of people say, you know, you Christians, you're not into the times. You're not into times. You know, you got to it's 2015. God did not change. His word is truth. Your word isn't truth.
So I'll start from the beginning. So in the Old Testament, you have blood magic that's introduced, and that's because, when Adam and Eve sinned, God had to kill an animal to clothe them, and so it's all just about redeeming sins through this magical blood that they get from animals. So in order to solve the issue of every year having to kill animals and use their blood to redeem themselves of their sins, what they had to do was they had to sacrifice a human, because human blood is more magical and more powerful than animal blood. And so I don't know if you guys remember in the like in the Passion narratives and whatnot, they have Barabbas that is let go in favor of crucifying Jesus. And that's actually a ritual in Judaism called Yom Kippur. In Yom Kippur, you take 2 lambs. One lamb is let go to carry the sins of Israel off into the wilderness, and then the other lamb is sacrificed, and its blood redeems the Jewish people. That's the exact same thing that happens in the New Testament with Jesus. So that's why they think that it had to be a person that died on a cross, and his blood redeemed them and everything. Like when you hear about people saying like the blood of Jesus and all that being redeeming blood or whatnot, that's why, because they feel that blood is magical and wipes away the imaginary disease called sin.
Is that why Mormons are
magical blood they get to drink at the church that makes everyone drunk?
Yes, that's the same blood.
Is that why Mormons are less inclined to give blood and accept medical help?
They feel that blood is like life. Like that's the reason why blood is used for redemption and all that other stuff, because blood is life. And so that's why it's not Mormons, it's JWs, I believe. They won't give blood.
Oh,
or
is it
whatnot.
Jehovah? Okay, I'm ignorant to all that shit. So when I want to
Like,
learn
it's all
something
bullshit, I
about
don't care.
Christianity or religion, I just refer to you. I'm like, yeah, he has a PhD in religious bullshit, I think.
The guy that sang my theme tune, he's actually an ex Jehovah's Witness, and listening to the way that religion kind of tried to control his life keeps me far away from it.
Okay, can I correct something in the chat real quick? Because Stringer News is telling me to stay in my lane, and I get that you're a member here on the Team Skeptic channel, but I'd stay in your fucking lane, okay? Because I did not say that Yom Kippur and Roman executions were the same thing. I said that Pilate introducing to the crowd the ability to release either Barabbas or Jesus is the Yom Kippur thing, not the Roman crucifixion. So maybe listen to what I'm actually saying. It's like
Right.
mom slapping dad at dinner tables.
More
Hey.
crazy.
Yeah, even friends fight. Hey. All right, here we go. We're gonna direct our attention to the crazy Christian lady on screen.
God did not change. His word is truth. Your word isn't truth. My word isn't truth. God's word is truth. And God says that marriage is between a man and a woman. I don't
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Poor lady. I mean, really, poor lady. Just so involved with what other people in the world are doing that can't be happy with herself. Oh, and
yeah,
you know,
I mean, that's pretty much all Christians.
This is how you know she's from the South. When she talks, she brings her hands up. She brings her hands up and talks with her hands. It pushes forth the point. When you move your hands like a duck moves its mouth when it tries to eat the little minnows. Okay, that's what that drives the point home right there.
I mean, what does the Bible say about, marriage? Is she right?
I think that technically she's right because it was only I believe that was the only considered option of marriage at the time when the Bible was written. So, you would have to again ask GE. He would know better than me. What is the actual position of Abrahamic religions on gay marriage?
For like Old Testament or fundamentalist type Christians, it's pretty much just kill them on the spot. For the newer types of Christians, they're a little bit more, I guess they're a little bit more emotionally abusive about it because they're like, you shouldn't be killed, but you should definitely feel like shit for it. And then you have the more progressive Christians that are like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I suck dick too. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but then you get like priests that are actually gay and stuff. And how do they reconcile that with what it says in the Bible?
Well, the way they reconcile it is that they say that like the Old Testament was written for a specific time and a specific people, and so that's why it doesn't apply to the New Testament. And because Jesus teaches love your neighbor and all this other stuff, and he doesn't technically say anything about don't kill gay people. And they also use like the whole in the gospel, I think it was the Gospel of John, maybe, where the woman is about to be stoned, Mary Magdalene, and Jesus saves her and everything like that. And he goes, he who is without sin cast the first stone and stuff like that. Like it, they come, like they cherry pick and they find reasons why it's like, oh, it's okay. And there's also the whole idea that God wouldn't have made them gay if it was really sinful or something like that, because like being gay isn't a choice. Like that sexual orientation is something that you're born with. So I mean there's several different ways that they kind of get around it. I mean, it's pretty much like a buffet. You can pick almost anything.
If there's anything about choosing to be homosexual or choosing to be gay, it's because you're choosing to be normal. Okay, that's like literally you fall in love. Sexual like the sex of somebody should not be the driving factor of what makes you attracted to them. Whether it is or is not. Like me, I'm straight. I don't have any problem with it. It just, there's something inside of me that finds attraction in a woman, and guess what? I'm normal because I follow the attraction I have. Not because it's a woman that I'm attracted to, but because I don't try to fight what it... I think what would be abnormal is to be attracted to a member of the same sex, but try to fake it as being a straight person because you don't want to get into to be ridiculed. To me, that's choosing an abnormal life. You're not choosing to be a normal human being. That's the only part of choice that's involved with any kind of sexual preference. Okay, do you choose to follow what your sexual preference is, or do you choose to be abnormal? At least in my opinion.
Man, this lady has issues.
Okay, back to her, yeah.
Hair! If you think I'm judging you, the
You are.
fact is, the God of the universe, he is the truth. Jesus Christ, not Muhammad, okay? It's just like these Islamic extremists.
Extremists.
Extremists, guys.
Extreme left.
Extremists. Yeah, that's this lady's got some massive issues. Oh wait, I don't know. Yeah, make sure.
I mean, like in the long run, isn't the God of Christianity the same God of Islam? Aren't they both the monolithic God, the same God of Judaism? Am I wrong there?
I'm pretty sure it's called they're Abrahamic religions. The ones that believe in the God of Christianity, which doesn't mean that they are Christians. It just means that they believe in a different subset of the same God, I guess. Like, again, resident theologist here, GE. What would be the fundamental differences between the different Abrahamic religions? Like, what separates them? Is it just the stories that separate them, or is an actual belief system that separates them?
Well, so you're talking about like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Judaism is kind of like the originator. It was the first one, and then you have Christianity that comes along, and they sort of refined a lot of the Jewish theology, and they refined it into a Messiah. And so they believe in a Messiah. Well, then Islam comes along, and they're like, no, that Messiah was shit. We've got our own Messiah. Or no, they don't have a Messiah, but they have a prophet, Muhammad, who got instruction from an archangel and is told like a new set of like new rules from this same Judaism God. And I mean, even Islam has a lot of shit in common with Judaism and Christianity has a lot in common with Judaism. And so, I mean, it's more, if you look at the timeline of when these things were developed, it's more of like, if you think about a tree, you have the actual root, or the root and the base of the tree, and then branches stemming off of that are Christianity and Islam.
Okay. I just want to address them in the chat. Casual Spaceman says, it's to all of us. If your kids told you they were gay, how would you react or deal with it? Personally, I would not bat an eyelid for a nanosecond. I wouldn't care if my kid said that he was gay. As long as he's not a flat earther, I'm okay.
Yeah, I would definitely have a big problem with my son saying he was a flat earther. But I've had that conversation with my son, actually, because my son is just turned 19 yesterday, in fact. You know, I wish he was here so I could give him one more kick in the ass for his birthday. But yeah, I've asked him before, because he's a very introverted person. He doesn't just go out to, he's not like your average 19-year-old. He doesn't have a lot of friends that he goes out and plays outside with. It's a different generation than when I grew up. When I grew up, we didn't have the internet. He's very social on the internet, but he's not very social like in real life. So of course I asked him just point blank, hey, you know, if you are homosexual, then it's fine. You know, there's no problem with it. I would rather you be honest with me about it so you can be yourself without having to put forth, you know, this facade to try to please me. And he straightforward said, no, I'm straight. You know, I said, well, I just want you to know I wouldn't have a problem with it. I don't want you to think, oh man, I don't want to disappoint my dad, or I don't want to let my family down. my family is a very accepting family, so we wouldn't have a problem with it. Now I will say that when I was in high school, I held a different viewpoint and belief system on this in regards to this, because I was more of a when you're younger, you're just younger. You just don't know. I was more ignorant to the whole topic. I was more on that, what that public fear was, that the gay man was going to get you and take you off to the side where no one could see, and he was going to undress you, and you were going to be, the gay people have a stare that you can't run from. So you're just be there frightened, and they're just going to strip you down and take advantage of you, boy. No, that's the way they taught me when I was in fucking church. Like they were like, oh, gay is bad. Gay is bad. Jesus said so. It says so right here. Let me interpret this Bible verse for you real quick. That was basically what drove my, I would say, homophobic tendencies. But when I went to college and I got to experience, an unfiltered and unhinged experience of the whole world, because I went to University of Texas, 120,000 students. Probably a good percentage of them it's a very, liberal and progressive town, so that they're much more open than where I grew up at towards homosexuality. So once I got there and experienced all that, I was like, hey, what's all this that everybody's scared of gay people for? I'm going to the lesbian bar. You know why? Because they party. They fucking party. And it's fun.
Gay bars are awesome.
Now, I learned through my experiences that what I was taught as a child was not necessarily right. And I definitely want to teach my son the same thing. Hey, who is it that just joined?
It's JM.
JM, could you give us 1 second to finish our segment up, and then we'll get over to you in 1 second.
Sure.
Just letting you know, we're going over we're dealing with some crazies here tonight. But yeah, so growing up, I had that stigma. I was influenced by that, and it really, until I got away from all the parental influences and the influences of of my peers at school and the influences of my religious beliefs and whatnot, I was able to form my own opinion and realize there's nothing different between a gay person and a straight person. They're both people, okay? Treat them with the same amount of respect, and you will definitely have a more successful life. And that's just coming from my personal experience.
Okay, so for me answering that particular question, I wouldn't, it wouldn't matter to me whether or not they, like my son was gay. It just, I wouldn't care. I mean, if he told me that, I'd be like, oh, cool, bro. Got a boyfriend? I mean, I don't know. I just treat him normal. Like it's kind of like I'm supposed to do normal shit, but it feels like I'm supposed to do something else, but it's just normal shit.
Now, see, I can understand like how some parents would get a little upset, because I only have one kid. He's my son. My namesake ends with him. My bloodline ends with him if he doesn't procreate. So I can understand that, but at the same time, it's not my choice. It's not my, he's not doing it for me. I should never expect another human being to give up their personal life so that I could be satisfied. So that's where I think that maybe some of the influence when I was younger, when it was definitely being pushed harder. Now it's not being pushed towards our youth so hard. Now there's much more of an acceptance within our youth. When I graduated, I had over 1,000 people, and there was one person who was openly gay. One person. Now, looking back on it now, I can tell you for 100% fact that there was more than one gay person in that class. There was only one person that was okay with himself being gay in front of everybody else. So, and I think that mentality has changed in our children's generation, which that shows progression to me. We don't. Go ahead.
There's another question that says about what would you do if our child told us they were flat earthers? I would sit them down and explain to them how wrong that is, and to not be an idiot, because that isn't a belief.
Well, what I would definitely say that if you're a kid that trying to believe in the flat earth, whether the earth is flat or not, trying to believe in the flat earth is only going to hinder you in society. So even if your beliefs are one way, I think you should still learn the other belief system just so you could be successful in life. Because you can always, with critical thinking, which every adult should have the ability to critically think. That's all a parent should be able to do. That's all a parent should be responsible for, setting their children up so that they can critically think for themselves when they reach adulthood. So once they can critically think for themselves, they should be able to make that decision for themselves that the earth is not flat, or that the earth is flat, whatever the case may be. Now let's get through this. Let's get through this video real quick so we can get on to our next segment. Because I want to do my buddy's an idiot before we get into the
Extremist.
the next part. Okay. So let me go ahead and go. Actually, you know what? We can be done with this video. Let's just be done with it. That lady's crazy. I'll share a link in there. So if any of you guys want to go and watch and have a good laugh, it's pretty much the same thing as what we've been showing this whole time. Okay. So, now we're back to our normal show. Let's go ahead and introduce Joshua. Joshua, are you there?
Oh. I am.
Okay, great. Yeah, we're going to have a conversation tonight. Same kind of conversation as we've had in the previous two encounters, except for it's going to be less formal tonight. We're just going to kind of have an open discussion about belief systems and some of the things that were mentioned in our previous non-sex show. I'm pretty sure that everybody's aware that that's what we're doing, correct? Fight the Flat Earth?
Yeah. Okay. I just want to say to JM, I hear that you were angry at me for bringing up your education. Well, here's the thing.
No, I wasn't
you don't
angry.
Bring it up, and I won't bring it up because you don't have a degree in science. Don't say you do, and I won't call you out on it. Simple as that.
Okay, well then you don't understand what science is then, bro, because...
no. You have a 12-month online course.
Hold on.
Fight the Flat Earth, let him finish. Fight the Flat Earth, let him finish.
Let me finish. The degree is titled, it's a Master's of Science degree. So regardless of whether you like it, don't like it, believe it or not, that's the title of the degree. It isn't... Can I finish? Can I finish?
Yes.
Again,
please.
You don't understand science because science involves...
No, I'm going to call you out. If you say I don't understand science, I'm going to stop you because I do and you don't.
Let me finish. Fight the Flat Earth, then you'll get a chance to respond.
Okay. Science is defined also as the technology and environmental sciences. Now, I don't know how it is in England, but that's how it is here. Okay. However, you saying, oh, it's a communications degree. Yes, it's a communications degree because it is also a teaching or instructor's degree. Okay. That's a degree in communications.
Okay, but it does not give you the ability or knowledge to talk about science and scientific things. Because let's break it down what it is. It's a degree in writing instruction manuals, okay? It's nothing to do with science. You don't do any science. You don't do any math.
Associated the two.
How about this? How about this? Hold on, guys.
You when you first appeared, you said I'm a physicist and I'm a biologist, and those are two straight up lies. A biochemist, and they are two straight up lies. I asked you what ATP was, and you didn't even know.
ATP is the energy for cells. I know what it is. I'm well aware
of when I asked you last time.
Fight the Flat Earth.
Because I didn't answer does not mean that I don't know what it is.
Let me step in and interject. We're not gonna fight in here tonight. We're going to have a conversation.
Right.
Yes, me and Joshua had spoke about this earlier. The lack of a physics degree does not mean you have the lack of ability to talk about physics, and we'll just leave that at this point, at this juncture, because I don't have a physics degree, and I speak on physics quite often. I don't have a math degree, but I understand lots of math.
My degree does not make.
At the same time, he cannot try and wait, Jim. At the same time, I actually have a degree in physics.
Yes,
so
you do have a degree in physics.
Point that JM Truth will be able to say something about physics that is better than what I can say, because I actually have that knowledge.
That's not true, and here's why.
Okay. You haven't studied physics, JM.
Let me finish. I have studied
physics. No, you haven't.
Hold on. Let him finish. Go ahead.
I have a lot of college that is not in my degree. I have done physics. I've done chemistry and biochemistry. I would not sit up here and tell you I was a biochemist if I couldn't do biochemistry. Okay, having a degree, let me finish. Having a degree does not make one a scientist. There's plenty of physicists like yourself who have never done physics experiments.
I never said I'm a physicist.
Okay, great, because you're not.
I have a degree in physics and a degree in nuclear engineering.
What makes somebody a scientist is that they do experiments. That's the definition of a scientist. So for you to say, well, you associated my master's degree with my saying I'm a physicist and a biochemist. They're not associated.
But you're not a physicist.
Wait, let me finish. Because you said so, or because I do physics experiments? Because I do physics.
You haven't done any experiments. Like JM. Right. Let's talk about this as at a base level, okay?
How do you know that?
If you had any knowledge of
JM, Joshua, let him address your
knowledge of physics at all, then you would not say something as fucking ridiculous as mass and weight are the same thing. You would not say something as ridiculous as angular velocity and centripetal acceleration being the same thing. You would not say something as ridiculous as the second law of thermodynamics disproves the globe. Those things are completely against what physics is. You don't know what physics is because you say these ridiculous things that are so far outside of physics that it clearly points to you bullshitting about what you know.
Let me interject 1 second, guys, because we haven't actually moved on to this segment yet. But let me address first off. Let me address the super chat that's active, and then we're gonna hold the rest of the super chats after Willie Merckx until the end, so that we can be uninterrupted in our conversation. First off, Joshua, let me ask you a question. How long have you been eating Taco Bell in your life? Not trying to be funny. How long have you been eating Taco Bell in your life?
I don't eat Taco Bell.
Did you eat it maybe 10 years ago?
Maybe 10 years ago.
Do you remember when they used to have a meat tube, okay? They used to fill a tube, it was like a plastic or paper tube. It looked like a caulking gun, basically.
Right.
And then they would squeeze the meat into the taco tortilla. Do you remember this or no? It's okay if you don't remember.
I don't remember. I've never watched them make stuff in Taco Bell, so
This sounds delicious.
It's the meat tube is
gross,
amazing.
but all right.
Okay, so Willie Merckx
That just sounds wrong, dude.
that Willie Merckx says, do the nameless they use the meat tube to pump lava into the earth? I can't speak. I can't say that I've ever seen quote unquote they pump in lava into the earth through a meat tube, but I can for sure say that I at least remember seeing Taco Bell employees squirting meat into a taco with a meat tube. I've had people send me pictures of it online. I've had people say that I'm crazy. I've lost several friends over this argument. There's a meat tube, guys. Just accept it.
If you say so, I have no experience to say whether there is or not.
Okay, and did Nathan join, or is it still just you?
Nathan's here.
Okay, great. I thought I heard you come in. All right, so
hey Nathan, what's your issue with going to gay bars? You don't like fun?
No, I've been to some gay bars. I got a lot of gay friends. I was just quoting you because it was a funny quote.
It's funny, but I mean, come on, you have to agree that the difference between going to a normal bar and a gay bar is you'd have a lot more fun in a gay bar.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Not only will I agree with that, but in general, when you meet a gay person, they are cooler than the average straight person. In general,
I agree with that, Nathan. That is, I think, the first thing I've ever agreed with you about.
Not only have I been in gay bars, but I also have my brother's gay. So,
well, and this is a gay friendly channel, guys. I want y'all to know I stand behind the rights of everybody. Okay, I don't believe in straight white men having more rights than anybody else. So this is a gay friendly area. You guys, we can openly talk about it without having to worry about our sexuality, because as far as I know, we're all straight, correct? I mean, we all have children and whatnot. Okay, so we can have a conversation about society's issues without having to be weird about it. Now, me and Joshua had a conversation earlier because, yes, there was a few people, or he kind of felt like we were attacking him as a person, and I want Joshua and Nathan, I want both of you guys to understand something. None of us are here to attack you personally, okay? We like I told Joshua earlier, we'll put your feet to the fire on what you say. If you say something we disagree with, we're going to call you out on it, but at the same time, call us out on anything you disagree with us on, okay? Because our friends call us out all the time. So if our friends are calling us out for the mistakes we make, by all means, you guys can call us out as well. So to say that, Nathan, do you have anything to say for your intro, man?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It seems like we're getting somewhere as far as a discussion. And I want to ask that we could just, because I'm broadcasting on my channel too, guys. It's just no cursing, no insults. Let's not turn.
No cursing. I'm sorry. It's who I am.
Well, excessive
be
cursing,
yourself.
yes. Yeah, excessive cursing. There won't be any just dropping the F-bomb for fun. How about that?
Yeah, let's keep it scientific, because if we can remain calm and be intelligent and not redundant with our speech, I think that could progress the dialogue, more rapidly than just everyone kind of being derogatory or not policing their language.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
Now, GE, we've had you here for an hour. Are you still good, man? You ready for this dumpster fire?
Oh, my butthole is puckered.
Oh,
That's not
man.
crazy.
No, that's factual statements. That's actually better word. Butthole, I feel, is a better word to use than rectum or sphincter. So,
Anytime I'm talking about a gay bar for at least 20 minutes after the conversation, my butthole is also puckered.
nice. All right. So, I guess what we'll do is we'll give you guys the first. What is it that me, Fight the Flat Earth, or Godless Engineer said on the Non Sequitur show that you may or may not disagree with?
Go ahead, JM.
JM, either one of you guys.
That I may or may not disagree with.
Yeah.
That discussions are better than arguments.
Well, yeah, okay, but there were things that
Scientifically, I think we disagree when it comes to this over a lot of different things because we can't nail down the physics of it, if you will. So.
Okay, well, let's go to the Coriolis effect because that seemed to be where we had a fundamental disconnect regarding the Coriolis effect because you guys believe.
So I want to say first off, okay, regarding the mass flow meters, I made a boo-boo in regards to the fact that they use the Earth's rotation. They use internal Coriolis. Okay, I will be the first one to hold my hand up when I say something wrong. I did a lot more research on it, and the mass flow meters are not evidence of the Earth's Coriolis effect.
Will you then also admit I was right?
No, I just admit that I was wrong about the particular operation of a mass flow meter.
But what you just said is exactly how I explained it.
Yeah. Okay. So about the mass flow meter, yeah, you were correct, and I will give that concession because I did more research into it, and the wording on the websites I was reading was pretty bad. But yeah, the Coriolis force within the mass flow meters is an effect of the rotation within the mechanism itself. So
Excellent.
That is a concession that I will give out straight away because that is something that is very important in discussions like this, intellectual honesty. And I know I made a boo-boo, and I've already put it in the description of the video where I mentioned it on my channel. So the mass flow meters is something that I'm removing from the argument because I made a mistake with that. Okay?
Well, you've won points with me then.
Sorry?
You have won, not that you, I don't know if you care or not, but you've won points with me on that.
For sure.
Okay.
Good work.
Yeah.
However, there is many other proofs for the Coriolis effect on Earth that we can look at, and the fact that military manuals and stuff refer to them for you to be able to actually fire things in the correct way. Howitzers in the second in the wars actually had to be targeted in a particular way, otherwise they would be more than a mile off when they fired and things like that. The Coriolis force can be calculated using cosine and stuff based on where you are on your latitude and longitude. And when you take into account all the other forces that are there, the Coriolis force is something that you have to include in your net forces.
Okay. Well, can I speak now?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, so your proof of Coriolis is I have government documents.
No. That was one particular evidence, not proof. If you want more evidences, there's plenty of maths and physics behind it, and then we can go into weather systems and stuff and how they're actually created using by the rotation of the planet, and the fact that there is a difference between the rotational speed on different longitudes that actually cause weather systems to deflect in a particular way. I will make it clear that the Coriolis force is not the only thing that determines what those weather systems do. There's a lot to do with high and low pressure and things like that. But the main cause of the deflection of weather systems and the direction that hurricanes and stuff spin is because of the fact that the Earth is spinning. And one of the biggest evidence of this we can see is the fact that when hurricanes cross the equator, they literally lose their structural integrity instantly. And that is because of the difference in the rotational speed of the different points on longitudes.
Okay, excellent. Now, can I speak? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So that can easily be explained, the phenomenon with the storms, by an electromagnetic wake. Are you familiar with the term electromagnetic wake, Craig?
I would like you to define what you mean by it.
Hey,
Okay, so
Nathan, can I have you direct these questions to me, because I know where you're about to go with this, and I'm prepared for that response.
yeah, well, I'm just saying, pointing at storm systems in the sky is not inconclusive proof that the Earth moves, because, and I have to bring you guys back to this, we need one observed natural phenomenon, right? And then you need a hypothesis linking the cause and the effect. Now, if you're claiming the cause of the effect is Earth rotation, then please give me your control variable or your null hypothesis, how you manipulated the cause to determine.
How did you come up with your explanation? Just out of curiosity, because you're holding us to a different set of standards than you're expecting to hold yourself to. How did you come up with your electromagnetic wake hypothesis?
Wait. Okay, I'm not saying that's proven. I'm not saying I can prove it. I'm not saying I have an experiment that proves it.
Okay.
I'm just saying that there are other things you need to take into account, because observing and declaring is second grade science.
Right.
It's not how we.
Let's address that real quick, because there is something about the Coriolis effect that it was tested. Okay. During the, and this was shared by a couple of articles that were shared to me by one of the subscribers after we had our conversation, where they were discussing that the English ships during the Falkland Island Wars, okay, when they were doing their calculations for Coriolis, right, they completely did all their calculations based on longitude and not based on whether or not they were on one side of the equator or the other, because they never when they were writing their manuals and when they were learning the math behind the Coriolis effect to take this into account for when they were firing their weapons, which is testing the hypothesis every time, because these salvos were absolutely accurate, they were finding that when they were measuring 50 yards that they would need to account for of the Coriolis, they were missing by 100 in the opposite direction. And they were missing by 100 because the rotation is different in the south than it is in the north.
This is a historical document. This is a historical record, correct?
Yes.
It's irrelevant. It's not something that we can prove.
It's something that occurred. You can hold it as much as you want and you say, oh, well, I'm not going to accept that, but this actually happened. Okay, they had this is when they realized that for them to be right, that the Coriolis effect actually deflects in the opposite direction in the southern hemisphere. And when they made those corrections, they were again on point.
Team Skeptic.
Yes.
So you call yourself Team Skeptic, bro, and you read us a document from history, and what do you expect us to do? Just pack up our bags and be like, wow, dude, I guess it's a spinning ball. You have a document from history that, explain it. I will explain it. I will explain it. JM, I got it. I will explain it. That's a begging the question fallacy.
No. Explain how okay. So let's just say we can't actually manipulate with our fingers and hands massive weather systems, which we can't do, okay? Let's say that we have to make certain assumptions, and then we have to test these assumptions out. Okay, this is basically y'all's definition of the scientific method. We're making a hypothesis. The hypothesis they were making is that the Earth's rotation is going to cause a deflection of the ballistic salvos that they were firing. Okay, so then when they go on to the other side and they realize that their predictions were wrong, and they reevaluated to see, oh, why are they wrong? We believe that it's the Earth's rotation that's causing this deflection. How come our beliefs, our hypothesis is not proving to be true anymore? And then they go, oh, that's right, because in the southern hemisphere, we're dealing with the opposite rotation, an opposite deflection, okay, and relative to the northern hemisphere. So then they go back and they change the calculations they make. They change this based on their hypothesis that says, oh, yeah, by the way, it's not always this equation. It's this equation in the north. It's this equation in the south. And then they apply that, and guess what? They're spot on accurate again. How do you explain that?
Team, yes. How do you explain that? How do you explain that, right? I explain that by telling you, again, for the second time, you're begging the question. It's a fallacy, a logical fallacy.
No, Nathan, let's not have all your false fallacies and actually address issues.
No.
Wait, guys.
Like, he's asked you a direct question, and can you not just answer the question instead of obfuscating it by trying to talk about fallacies, which you're very wrong about?
Wait, guys, I got it, Jam. I got it. I got it. You're assuming things in the question that you're taking for granted. That's what begging the question means.
I don't think anything's being taken for granted. You're wrong.
Wait, okay.
There's a hypothesis that is being tested, and it is turning out to be right every time. So if the null hypothesis would be that these targeting systems, the way that they use the target, it doesn't give the effect that they want. But what you find out when you actually target those systems using the correct calculations, that you get the correct target. Now, without talking about fallacies, can you explain why that happens?
You're going to beg the question again.
No, I'm not. No, I'm going to keep asking the same question, Nathan. We're not going to talk about fallacies.
Show me the experiment. You don't have any proof. You have no proof.
The experiment is every single time they fire that weapon.
You're assuming that happened. It's an assumption.
No, it's not an assumption, because modern weapon systems also have to take the Coriolis effect into account.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. The adjustments built into advanced targeting systems and the dead reckoning type shown in that artillery manuals are also still taught.
I shot mortars for multiple years. That what you call the Coriolis effect in that manual is not Coriolis.
What is it then?
It's the rotation of the round. It's the same as throwing
we
a
already discussed that.
Baseball.
No,
I've gone
through
this.
No.
Hold on.
Let
me address this.
That's not true, because that's not how barreling works.
Let me address this. Let me address this. Let me address this.
Let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've sat
I'll
through
address
many
that after you're done.
mortar courses. Okay, neither of you have sat through a mortar course. I've sat through many courses. One of the things you learn is
you do realize I was in the military for 10 years, right?
Hold on, Fight the Flat Earth. Hold on.
Can I finish? As a round spins, it pulls in the direction of the spin. Rounds do that. Sniper rounds do that. Mortar rounds do that. Tank rounds do that. Okay, that's a known physical thing that happens through physics.
I pointed out to you in the beginning, or in the last time we spoke about this. If that was the case, you would have the deflection in the same direction relative to the observer every single time. So if the deflection was right to the east, shooting north, then the deflection would be to the west, shooting south, which is not the case. It's always to the east. Because it's always to the east, we can say that the rifling is not the cause for the bullet deflection. Because if it was the rifling and the spinning of the bullet, it would always have the same deflection no matter which direction you fired it in.
Unless the rifling went in the different direction.
I can settle this real quick into one question. All right, Craig or Team Skeptic, have you ever shot a ballistic and had to adjust for Coriolis?
Well, no, that wasn't my job in the military. Yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't a ballistic. But have you, Nathan?
However, I have had to do the calculations as part of my submarine course for targeting weapon systems, and the cosine law, when you used it to actually calculate what the Coriolis force is taken into account in those calculations.
So you had to take in the Coriolis effect on a submarine, firing through the water?
When you're talking about firing any weapons, any weapon system that is ballistic,
any weapon that goes ballistic
of the Earth.
I'm talking about any weapon that is ballistic will have to take that into account.
Once an object goes ballistic, it becomes susceptible to the Coriolis forces. If it's powered, it will not. The Coriolis forces are too weak to take into account when something has a
See, I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
that's not saying that they're not there. The Coriolis forces is there, but when something is powered, like a rocket or a plane or something, the Coriolis force is so minimal compared to all the other forces acting on it that a plane flying north-south wouldn't have to adjust for it because there is so many other forces that are taken into account that it's minute.
The planes do take into account for it. The planes do take into account for it. If a plane tries to fly straight up, okay, this is built into the navigation systems. And this is part of the global position. There's no way to actually test this with electronic flight, okay? Because what happens is when you fly north, to you, you're flying in a straight line. You think you're flying in a straight line. It looks as if the whole Earth is deflecting to the left to you, to your perspective, because you're carrying your linear velocity as you head north from the equator. Okay, so that's absolutely true. If you're flying that way, the plane will take into account, but that's part of being powered. Okay, you're noticing that you're going to the left, so you have to correct to the right. You're noticing that you're drifting to the east, so you correct to the west to maintain your latitude. You know what I'm saying?
Guys, I can solve this. I can solve this in one question. Hey, Fight the Flat Earth or Team Skeptic, you guys ever flown a plane or piloted a plane?
No,
it's just belief. You just believe.
No. Right,
dude, you're
Nathan,
not going to do that, man. Because if we hold,
hold
on, no.
One sec,
We're
guys.
going
I
to
want to
start
call
this.
Nathan out for something there because that is a genetic fallacy.
Exactly.
If you're going to talk about fallacies, Nathan, that is a genetic fallacy, and it's not going to fly here. Okay,
Nathan, you'll never be able to present anything but what you have. Listen, Nathan, you'll never be able to present anything that I will ever accept again unless you can show me absolute 100% fucking proof that you did it with video corresponding to what you're saying, that because we can't ever present anything to you whatsoever because you're just going to say, were you there? Did you do it? Are you an airplane pilot? No, that I don't have to be that. There's well documented, verifiably proven manuals. Pilots live by these manuals.
And I personally know 2 pilots within this community, Bob the Science Guy and Wolfie 6020. So, they will both tell me that these things are true.
Do. I know lots and lots of Air Force pilots.
And the Federal Airline Administration trains pilots on a target generation facility, which not only emits no linear flight path, non-rotating Earth, they don't account for a gravity vector either. So you can't appeal to authority when the Federal Airline Administration saying...
Can I ask you a question, Nathan?
Ahead.
If you're playing checkers, playing checkers inside of your car as you're driving, when you move the checkers, do you account for the velocity of the car?
I have a question, Team Skeptic.
Exactly,
if you're in a car that's stationary, do you move
Team question first?
No, he proposed a challenge to me. I can offer a challenge back to make him to that's what a rebuttal is. So, team, listen.
No, answer my question first. You guys did this to me you did this to me in the non-sec quite often. I asked you very hard questions, and neither one of you guys answered my questions.
Answer that. You're in an enclosed container, okay? Allegedly on your guys' model, Earth's a spinning ball in space. It's not a relative. It's a false equivalent fallacy. But also, Team Skeptic, let me ask you a question. When you're in a car that's stationary playing checkers, do you have to adjust for the movement of the car? No. It's stationary because it is stationary. That's why you don't adjust for anything.
Everything inside of that car is in an inertial reference frame, okay?
So
you don't have to account for things when you're in the inertial reference frame because everything is moving with you. That's why you can play checkers inside of a car without accounting for the velocity of the car. It could be going 100 miles an hour, it could be going 1,000 miles per hour, but as long as it's moving constant, you don't have to account for that when you're playing checkers in the car. And that's the exact same.
If the car turns left or right or brakes or accelerates, then you do have to account for it because then there's other forces acting on it.
So
we have someone who is an aircraft. Wait 1 sec. Team, we've got someone who was an aircraft maintenance guy, Jared. He'd happily come in and explain how the Coriolis force is needed and explained with airplanes.
The Federal Airline Administration admits they don't account for it. So Jared is not relevant.
Okay, but Nathan, what we're trying to tell you is that they're in the same reference frame. You don't account for the car. You don't account for the checkerboard moving. You don't account for the checkerboard moving at 100 miles per hour because it's in an inertial reference frame. You can actually, you don't have to take that into account. We're in the same inertial reference frame as the surface of the Earth. We all spin together. So we don't have to take the movement of that because conservation of momentum is an actual thing.
Team, can I speak?
Yeah.
If the atmosphere moves with the Earth, there is no Coriolis effect. You're scientifically
Nathan, we discussed this on the non sequitur show, and we actually had to. It was like getting blood out of the stone from you. What is the reason the atmosphere spins with Earth on our model?
Okay, but
you're just denying Coriolis. That's all you're
doing.
doing.
No, I'm not denying Coriolis. I'm asking you a direct question.
I want to say something real quick. Joshua, hold on. Joshua, we'll get to you right after this, okay? Because I know you've been waiting patiently, and as soon as they give you an opportunity to speak, we'll stop so that you can speak, okay?
Yeah, I just want Nathan to ask the question. On our model, what is the reason the atmosphere spins with the Earth?
Because you're religious fundamentalist. There's
no, Nathan, actually answer the question. All right, ignore what you think at the moment. All right, and just think about our model and our explanations. What is the reason on our model that the atmosphere spins with the Earth? Don't say religious fundamentalism or anything nonsense like that. Actually, give me the reason that we have. Tell me that you understand the thing that you are trying to argue against. That's what I want to know.
I was a globehead for 30 years.
Nathan, that's not answering the question.
The reason... Will you stop interrupting me and just shut up for 2 seconds?
Well, if you answer the question, it's a simple question. Just answer the question.
Guys, come on.
If you interrupt me.
Come on, man. All right, go ahead, Nathan. We'll try not to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, try the whole time not to interrupt us, because we're here as a courtesy. We could go on our channels and host debates and stuff. We don't need to be here educating you guys on what we all want to
address the question. Yeah, address it, please.
Okay, I'll answer the question. I was a globehead for 30 years, Craig. The reason that you guys believe the atmosphere is magically velcroed to the Earth is because you double speak and deny Coriolis, which is what the atmosphere moving above the rotating Earth is.
No,
that wasn't even the question you were asked.
Hold on, Jared. Hold on 1 second, Jared. Go ahead, Nathan. Well, okay, Joshua. Let's move over to Joshua for 1 second because he's been waiting to talk, and then we're going to bring Jared in after that. Okay.
No, can we just confirm that Nathan doesn't know? That's if he can just say I don't know, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know the globe model. I don't know.
There we go. That's cool. Thank you. You don't know what you're arguing against. End of discussion.
Joshua, you have something you wanted to add. I know you've been waiting patiently.
We're having this issue because we're not understanding and not willing to stop and listen to each other. There are fallacies, okay? Nathan and I are kind of done with these arguments where you're bringing up fallacies and then asking us how to define things or things you believe or to explain forces that don't exist based on actual physics. But when we don't answer the question, we call a fallacy, then you don't like it because you want us to actually give you an answer. From our perspective, there is no answer when you're giving a fallacy. That's
okay.
Joshua, right. Let's make this clear. Right? There is no fallacies. We have a model that is capable of making predictions and explains everything that we can see. We can use that model to accurately predict everything we want. And it is not a fallacy asking you to explain the thing that you are arguing against. Okay, what you are doing is called a fallacy, and that is where you just call everything a fallacy.
No such definition.
There 100% is a fallacy. No, that is an actual fallacy.
If you'd like, I'd love to bring up my screen and we can go through the fallacies if you want me to.
No, we're not
and I'm pretty sure that won't contain.
Go ahead and how about this? Fight the Flat Earth. Will you pull up your proof for the existence of the fallacy? I'm going to explain something to you guys that I don't think y'all actually get. When we ask you to explain our model, we're not saying what makes us from children to now believe that we are on a spinning ball from your perspective. No, we're saying that there is a actual reason. We have a scientifically explainable reason as to why this happens and how we make predictions based on it. Okay. Now, what we're asking from you is to explain to us why we're wrong. Not because we're indoctrinated. Okay, Joshua, how about this? I think that the Coriolis is caused by a difference in linear velocities across a spinning globe. Okay, so as you get away from the equator, which is the 90-degree, right in the middle of the object, where the circle is the greatest along its axis of rotation. As you get away, the linear velocities decrease as you get closer to the poles. This is the reason for the Coriolis. Okay, we make predictions based on it. Where, Joshua, am I wrong?
We may define Coriolis differently.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Okay. All right.
my
Can I just point to
definition
my screen
depends.
1 second? The here where it says fallacy, and it points out that it is a fallacy.
Is that Wikipedia?
It's Rational Wiki.
Okay, Wikipedia is not even recognized in the graduate community. So
Okay.
Pull it up on
this is just
hang on.
this
hang
is
on,
just the first
hang on.
the first thing.
Pause.
All right.
Pause. Let me point something out to you, JM. Have you ever scrolled to the bottom of a wiki page entry?
absolutely.
What was there?
What's that?
What was there?
I don't remember offhand.
Could it
Didn't ask
be citations, sources, and
Citations,
all footnotes?
Yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't
Which
make it- that doesn't make it-
means Wikipedia can be used to go to the original source of the material being referenced. So what's the problem?
The problem is that in grad school they don't let you use Wikipedia.
No,
Are we
because
in
they want you
fucking
to go
grad school?
to the sources, which are at
No,
the bottom of the
sources-
wiki
Hey,
page.
but just because you have cited sources does not make them accurate or credible.
Are we
I-
are we in grad school right now?
No, but
Are we
I have to
currently
hold
right now
on.
in grad school?
Hang
Let,
on.
No,
let GE talk.
I
Let
will-
GE talk. He
Can I
hasn't.
finish?
Hey, hold on. No,
I
let GE
hold
talk
my-
because he hadn't spoke yet. So let GE talk, and Joshua, you can respond to him.
Okay.
I'm really tired of your whole soapbox. Oh, I've got a master's degree in what the fuck ever. Okay, I'm
I
really
didn't say
tired
that.
of
You guys brought it up. I never even brought it up.
Shut
hold on.
up.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
We never said that. Don't put words in his mouth.
Okay, let him
Thank
finish,
you.
and then Joshua can
Yeah,
address
Let
that.
him finish putting
Let-
words
let
in
him
his
finish.
mouth. Yeah, dude.
Let-
All right.
Joshua can address
Finish.
that. Joshua can address that. Go ahead.
No.
GE.
No, he's standing on top of this whole, that they're not accepted in graduate school. Last time I checked, we're on YouTube right now. We're not part of some kind of graduate school, okay? And you grandstanding in the non sequitur show about having a master's degree and how apparently at the time nobody else in the call had a master's degree.
That's
You
not
know,
what I said. You obviously didn't listen.
Yeah.
You need to shut up and listen. I said I didn't use you because I knew you had one. Thanks. So how do you like that?
Well,
Why'd you say that nobody had a master's
no, that is not what I said.
Hold on.
That is not
GE.
what I said.
On the panel.
Yeah,
On the panel.
Yeah, GE, I will. When I went back and listened to it, he did say, I don't think anyone except the members, anyone that's on this panel or anyone except for the moderators has a master's here.
Yeah. So
Thank
GE.
you.
Well, my
That-
bad. I didn't. No,
That's
I
just being
didn't
honest.
Yeah.
debate
Wrong
because of
again.
all of the crosstalk that people like immature as fuck Nathan Thompson here thinks that he could just get away with on these things.
Okay, well now let me add your thing. I never even brought up my degree. You all did. Greg did. I never brought up my degree at all.
No, actually, you
No,
very
well,
much
let me
brought up
finish.
your qualifications,
Let me finish.
saying
Let
that
me
how
finish.
you are
Let me
qualified
finish.
in this and that to say
No.
stuff, and I called you out on it.
No,
Simple
no,
as that.
no. You did that. I never brought up my degree. You can go back and watch the video if you'd like to. But I never said that. Okay? The only reason now I'm mentioning it is because, again, you brought it up. So, since you brought it up, and
he
wait,
brought up
let me finish. Let me
Yeah,
finish.
actually, rationally.
Right, because you're bringing up. Look, I can bring you up pictures of satellites and shit that I've tore apart in Photoshop that I know for a fact aren't real.
Okay, no, I've got to pull you apart there. JM, is Photoshop a forensic analysis tool?
Absolutely, yes, it is. You ask
No,
any.
it is 100% not.
Are you really
Photoshop
that
is
stupid?
not a forensic analysis
If you
tool.
call any forensic shop, they will tell you they have a specialist that goes and uses Photoshop, Adobe. They use all kinds of photo.
Photoshop is not a forensic analysis
It is a
tool.
forensic tool. Yes,
No,
it
it
is.
is not.
Sorry, you're an idiot.
It's Photoshop.
Okay,
it
guys,
is not a
guys,
forensic
You have no
analysis
clue
tool.
what you're even talking
Damn.
about.
Calm
He
down.
doesn't know what he's talking about.
Listen,
No clue what you're talking
listen, relax.
Just like
relax.
everything, bro. Just
Hey.
like everything. have no clue.
You have
what
no
they're
clue.
No, that's not
Listen,
true. I
listen,
wouldn't.
my-
Yeah, that's more of an ad hom because we've actually, Nathan, we've asked you so many times to explain certain very basic
You
things
beg
that
the
we have a
question.
complete.
You
But
make the
no,
question over and over again. That's all you do. You
no,
have no
no, no.
scientific
That's
evidence
your
for
way
anything.
of deflecting the question, bro. You know that as
No.
well as I do. You don't want
All
to
right.
you don't want to show that you don't know the answer, so you
Guys,
just
you
deflect the
don't
question
make
and you
a-
say it's a fallacy.
This
All
is
right,
from
so-
nowhere near Wikipedia. This
All right,
is
let's solve this.
a
Nathan,
website that literally points
give
out fallacies.
Hold on, Joshua. Hold on.
Jay, I'm
hold
talking
on,
right
Joshua.
now.
Hold on, Joshua. Hold on. Go ahead. Fight the
Right.
flat Earth.
This website that I'm on is literally there to list fallacies, and fallacy is right there. Stop saying it's not a thing. You don't know what you're talking about.
I'm dealing
Okay,
with
listen,
people that are
listen,
fallacy illiterate. I'm
I
just
never
kidding.
said
I had,
that.
to, I had to say
No,
that.
if I can clarify something.
Yeah, go ahead, GE.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't care about who has a master's degree or anything like that. Like me having a master's degree does not make me any more correct than anybody else.
I never said it did either. So
I
let's
Let him
get off
finish.
this.
Let him finish, Joshua.
Let
Let
me
him finish.
JM. Jesus Christ. Okay, my point is that I'm tired of you standing on some kind of scholarly soapbox and requiring certain things in order to accept it as reality. Okay, that's what I'm tired of. And
Will you say
being
that
hey,
again? Say that one more time.
Hold
Please
on.
say that one more time for me. I'd love to hear you say that one more time on YouTube, in front of all of your massive people. Please tell me that again. Because with a graduate degree, I think it's sad that you are not holding people to the standard at which reality is reality.
Huh?
You don't have a clue what
holding
reality
Standard
is.
of
It's sad.
Confusing shit right there.
How is it not? What? I don't
If
even
you
get
if,
You don't
if
even
you
understand.
really if
you don't
you
understand what
really
I'm saying now?
hang on,
Really?
if you really took that from what he said, that just shows you aren't fucking listening. Neither of you two are.
Hey, wait. I don't know if you were here at the beginning. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're here.
I've been watching you for a while,
Hold on,
and I
hold
came
on,
in to
hold on.
refute something you
Right,
said.
I'll
is an
tell you why
actual-
Jared's
he's an
here, because
airline
Jared
mechanic, or he's an
spent a
airplane
lot of
mechanic.
time
I
in the
don't know who
military
this guy
working
is.
on
I came to
aircraft.
talk to
Hold
you
on.
and fight.
Nathan, stop one sec. I'll tell you why Jared's here. It's because he is an expert on aircraft. That's why he's here.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I just want to, for one sec, point out other proofs, other evidences for the rotation of our planet. Do you know what the Eötvös effect is?
The TiVos. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, in the early 1900s, a German team from the Institute of Geodesy in Potsdam carried out gravity measurements on moving ships in the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans. While studying their results, they noticed that readings were lower when the boat moved eastwards and higher when it moved westwards. And then in 1908, new measurements were made in the Black Sea on two ships, one moving eastward and one moving westwards, and the results substantiated Eötvös's claims. So there is an evidence of the rotation of the Earth, something that can be carried out many, many times. It's not hearsay; it's an actual experiment that was done. So
Allegedly.
there is no, not allegedly. It can be done anytime. You can go and do it yourself if you are so desperate to get the truth. Then why don't you go and do these experiments?
Yeah, that is one of the questions I have
that's a great question.
Joshua. This is a question I do have for flat earthers, right? These concepts, they come backed by, we don't just say it, okay? We don't just say, oh, all hurricanes are going to spin counterclockwise in the north and clockwise in the south because of Coriolis. We have an actual explanation for it, okay? We have an explanation that says this is why we see this, okay? At least this is why we believe we see this, and our predictions support the evidence supports our belief in that, and that this is the reason that this is happening, okay? Now, all you got to do is go out there and show us that we're wrong. It's real simple. If we're wrong, it should be completely simple to either prove that we're wrong or show that it can be some other force other than the one that we've attributed it to.
Go ahead, Nathan.
Okay, as no one's talking, I'll pose another question relating to the whole density thing.
Well,
okay, so you've
hold
got
on,
a closed tube.
hold on. We let this happen at the
dropped out.
non-sec too much. I want this question to be answered. Because no, you're fine, because this just happened a lot to me in the non-sec, and I was really frustrated because I really wanted them to answer certain questions that were just blown off and it moved past it, and I just let it go. But I'm not going to let it go here. Joshua, the things that we say are backed by our experimentation. Okay,
not your experimentation. They're backed by alleged experimentation.
Right. I am siding with scientific
Genetic
consensus here. I'm siding with scientific consensus because here's the reason why I'm siding with scientific consensus. Because you yourself could go prove that the scientific consensus is wrong, and I'll stop believing in it at that moment. Go prove it wrong. I'll stop believing in it in that moment.
Okay. There are hundreds of laser tests. There are hundreds of density tests. There are hundreds of gas pressure tests. Are you saying that, team?
Sorry,
can I finish? May I finish?
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
There are hundreds of tests. So for you to look at me and say, well, if you go out and do these experiments, I'll stop being around Earth at first, that'll never happen. And here's why. Because you have a large following. And for you to all of a sudden flip, you'd lose all of your following.
Are you kidding me? Hold on. Do you think I do this for money?
No,
I own
it's
my
not about
business.
money.
This is
It's
not.
about money.
No, hey, you know what? I do
Partially,
this for
all of us
fun.
do this for our ego. Actually, if you
No.
want to be honest, that's part of the reason we do this.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll put that out there. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I do this for fun.
I
preach the
admit part of
truth.
this for my ego as well. Okay, so
For me, it was I had time on my hands.
all right, whatever. But my point is, there are hundreds of tests. So here's the point: you have alleged tests, and we have alleged tests. How do we determine that what is correct and what is not correct? Now, my proof to you, or my actual reason for that, would be the scientific method. However, even Craig and I, is it Craig or Greg?
Craig.
If
Craig.
you can just call him
Okay,
Fight
even
or Craig. It doesn't
Fight.
matter.
Sorry, even Fight and I disagree on what the scientific method is. He believes it's to help prove things, and I believe it's to help actually tell you what's true and what's not true.
Well, yeah, that's the same thing. Right. Well, let's clarify what I think about the scientific method before you put words in my mouth. Okay. The scientific method is a guideline.
No, it is not.
Okay, don't interrupt me when I'm talking.
Let me finish, Joshua.
It is. The scientific method is a guideline to guide you to come to conclusions. It is to allow you to accurately figure out things about the world around you. And the thing about the scientific method is that you don't always use all the steps. Different disciplines of science will use the scientific method in different ways and follow it in different ways. So the scientific method is certainly not as rigorous and strict and confined as you guys put it.
Okay, can I answer that?
Yeah.
The problem that has changed over the years is because you have other now pseudosciences coming into the mix that know they cannot get through the very first step or even the second step of the scientific method. So in order to call themselves sciences, they have to skip the hypothesis, they have to skip the experiment.
Okay.
Okay? Because you cannot...
I would disagree with that because there's no such science that does that.
Let me ask a question of you. Joshua, may I ask a question of you? Where do you get do you think that the ancients had it right? Do you think they had it right about the earth being flat, firmament over the head? It says so in the Bible. Absolutely. Yes. Good deal. Now, when was the scientific method brought into existence?
I'd have to go look it up. I don't remember the year.
It's around 1500, I think, 1500 or later. Now, how is it possible that you can even take into account, that you can even blindly accept anything that they say because they didn't have the scientific method, when you're standing here today telling us that we don't know what the scientific method is and that it's not, if we don't use it in a proper way, then it's not a proper science?
What exactly is your question?
Why are you accepting? Let me try to rephrase it for you, team. Why are you accepting of information that predates the scientific method while holding us to the standard of it?
Okay, here's my answer. I don't. See, I didn't, and I never have. You've assumed that I have. But see,
based on what you have said.
You basically told us that everything that we said is...
You asked me if I believed the ancient cosmology is correct. My answer is yes, but I didn't when I was a round earther. I thought the ancient cosmology was stupid. It wasn't until I went out and did laser tests, gas pressure tests, and a bunch of other experiments that all of a sudden I realized the ancients had it right. Now, how they had it right, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I wasn't there.
But okay. So hold on. They got it right without the scientific method 2,000 years ago.
I cannot say that.
You just said that, Joshua. You just said they got it right. I don't know how, but somehow they got it right. Okay. But you basically just admitted that without the scientific method, these guys were able to get it right, but we can't do it today.
That's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth, team.
That's exactly what you just said.
That is the message you are conveying.
Okay, let me clarify then. I believe they had a scientific method, some kind of scientific method. They also had ancient texts, which apparently were right too. Somehow they figured it out. Now, did they use a scientific method? I don't know, but they had to use a method in order to prove it. So I do believe they had a scientific method. I don't believe that we all in the 1500s all of a sudden have the scientific method. We may have rediscovered the scientific method, but I believe they actually had one because Galileo was able to make predictions a long time ago.
Right, but okay. So the scientific method is
from the round Earth model.
Let me tell you, the scientific method is something when you're talking about what's written down and considered a written down scientific method is totally different than being able to come to a conclusion based on evidence that you have in front of you. It's a guideline that helps you to be able to structure your way of coming to that conclusion.
You realize the definition calls it an empirical way of testing. Do you realize do you know what the word empirical means? Now you call me.
Tell us.
Hold on, let me. Okay, empirical means absolute.
No, that's not what empirical means.
That's not what empirical means.
Okay,
what kind of dictionary are you using?
All right.
Right. Let me get this clear. Right. The scientific method is an iterative cyclical process through which information is continually revised. It is generally recognized to develop advances in knowledge through the following elements in varying combinations or contributions: characterizations, hypotheses, predictions, and experiments. Now, you notice how it said that there is varying combinations or contributions.
Hold on.
That is the scientific method.
Hold on. I don't know where you got that. But the scientific method is a method of research in which a problem is identified, relevant data is gathered, hypotheses are formulated.
That's what I just said.
Let me finish. And the hypothesis is empirically tested.
Okay.
That's what I just said.
If I can define empirical real quick, since we're reading out of the dictionary. Empirical means based on, concerned with, or verifiable by observation or experience rather than theory or pure logic.
Right.
Now,
that is in fact observation and testing and experiment. You cannot have one without the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, and you tell me one point, one thing that is in the heliocentric model that doesn't follow the scientific method, and I'll tell you where you're wrong.
Well, no, because you just said what you're going to do. You've just violated.
No, because I know that you're going to be wrong.
Making a prediction. He's making a prediction. Okay. Let's how about this?
I'm making a prediction that you're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
You
do
have
what he says.
The authority.
But
no, I haven't assumed an authority. I've made a prediction that you will be wrong about what you're going to say.
Joshua,
here's the thing. I'm going to be wrong.
Joshua, listen. Here's the thing. He's just
based on what you believe.
He's just asking you for one question right now. Give us one example where the scientific method fails us in our modern heliocentric viewpoint.
Gravity, for one.
No.
That's not an example. That's like a vague, let me just throw out this vague term. No, give me a specific example of where the scientific method has failed the heliocentric model.
Well, he said where, gravity. Now explain it. Explain how it is wrong.
Because gravity doesn't exist.
No, that's
right.
Not...
Okay, well, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
No, but tell us why we're wrong.
Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question. JM, what is the law of gravitational attraction?
It's not a law.
Okay, that's not why I asked you.
Yes, it is.
What is the law of gravitational attraction, which is a law as much as the second law of thermodynamics? You can't pick and choose which bits you want.
It's not a law.
Yes, it is. Now,
it's the law of gravitational attraction.
This is what I mean. You will just ignore the questions, all right? JM, within our model, what is the law of gravitational attraction? Whether you think it's a law or not, please explain to me, within our model, what is the law of gravitational attraction?
You explain within your model. My job isn't to explain to you what you believe.
So if you don't know, then you can just say you don't know. That's fine.
Okay. Hold on. GE had something to say. I want to let him get what he had to say out as well.
Well, I was just going to rephrase it with, can you please recite the equation that the globe model uses for gravity?
Oh, absolutely. Can I share my screen, please?
Okay.
I think the thing is he's asking you if you can recite, or if you know the model, if you know the mathematical model.
I understand the mathematical equation. The problem with the mathematical equation was hijacked from electrostatic force.
Oh God! Can you just recite it, please?
Yet one predates the other by a long way.
Yeah, electrostatic force predates gravity.
Wait, stop. Everyone stop. Right, JM, I'm going to ask you a direct question, and I just want a yes or no. Do you know the equation that is the law of gravitational attraction?
Yes.
Please tell me it.
F equals G over M1, M2 over R.
Squared.
R squared,
no,
sorry.
That's wrong.
It's FG equals G M1 M2 over R squared.
It doesn't matter whether equals
you put an extra over there for some reason.
No.
JM, wait, guys, please, I'm talking. JM, you just put a division where there should be a multiplication, so we'll try and ignore that.
Multiplication and division.
Okay, so we're about to have a math lesson too.
JM,
mathematical equation.
Please let me explain.
Can I finish?
No, I'm going to explain something right now. What you just told me is FG equals G over M1 M2 over R squared. That is very, very wrong.
That's exactly what you said. No, that is exactly what you said, Joshua. Whether you meant to or not, that's what you said.
F equals G M1 M2 over R squared.
That's not what you said. You said F equals G over M1 M2 over R.
FG equals. It's the same thing, guys.
No, it's not.
Okay?
Not when you divide.
Hang on. Okay. Now, my next question is. My next question is. Wait.
U2 over R squared. That's the mathematical equation for electrostatic force. Gravity hijacked it from the electrostatic force. You cannot use the same mathematical equation for two separate forces.
Please tell me where we got the
101 there, Craig.
No, JM, you're very wrong. Please tell me how we derived the law of gravitational attraction. Please tell me how we came to that.
You tell me how you came to that.
I know. I want to see if you know, because my biggest problem with you morons is that you have no clue about the thing you are trying to argue against. And that means that you don't have any right or any ability to actually question anything, because you don't know the thing you're arguing against.
You're arguing belief versus truth.
No, I'm not arguing belief, because I don't have beliefs.
I know.
I have data that leads me to conclusions.
Believe?
No, I don't believe anything. JM, I don't believe anything. I have data that leads me to conclusions.
Godless engineer.
I have a couple clarifications to make. One, it was mentioned that the scientific method that these guys are pushing was established in the 1500s, and it was said that Galileo did his work prior to. There's a problem with that.
I was guessing 1500s. That was me. I was guessing 1500. I just want to be clear about that.
But they said that he was before. Here's the problem. Galileo was born in 1564, died in 1642. He actually used the scientific method as it was pushed at that time. Also, the equation you gave for electrostatic force is also known as Coulomb's law. Do you remember when Coulomb's law was developed?
And there's a problem.
1785. 1785. Now, when did Newton live?
Again, I'd have to look it up, guys.
1400s, 300 years earlier. So tell me how gravity, which was established 300 years prior, stole the equation from something.
Okay, you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Sit down. You ready? Because the gravitational universal gravity mathematical equation didn't show up until the 1700s.
Wrong.
No, it's not wrong. Go look it up. Go look it up.
Okay. Can I please? I've got to go here in a second.
Hold on, guys. GE, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got to go here in just a second, but I just wanted to sort of follow out this whole scientific method business that Nathan is holding up his phone to his camera and capturing one screen with another camera. Anyways, so if gravity doesn't work like the globe model says it does, and if it indeed does not exist or whatnot, then we shouldn't be able to use the equation for gravity to make predictions in our world. Is that correct, JM?
That is correct.
Okay. If you weigh something with a really sensitive scale, if you weigh something at the base of a mountain with a scale, and then you travel high up on the mountain and then weigh it up there, same scale, ultra sensitive and everything like that, would you detect a difference in the weight?
Yes, but that has nothing to do with gravity.
So does it lose
Nice
mass
assumption
as
there.
it goes up top?
No, has to do with air pressure.
Air pressure gives things weight.
Would you agree that the pressure 10,000 at 10,000 feet is less than at sea level?
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's move on.
No, you
Why?
didn't disprove anything. The law,
That is in accordance with our model.
It is.
But it's air pressure that causes that, not gravity.
Hey guys,
Right. And what causes air pressure?
Density.
Density isn't a force.
Hydrogen.
Well, define pressure. Define pressure, by the way. Define pressure.
Right. I just want to quickly blow his electrostatic thing out the water. One major difference in the strength of the forces, the gravitational attraction between two electrons is only 8.22 times 10 to the minus 37 of the electrostatic force of repulsion at the same separation. However, gravitation usually is concerned with large masses, while any large collection of charges will quickly neutralize. Another difference between the two forces is the fact that gravitation only attracts, while electrical forces attract with the electrical charges when the electrical charges are opposite and repel if the charges are similar. Thus, gravitation is considered a monopole force, while electrostatics is a dipole force. So, no, they're not the same.
Hey, guys, can I interject 1 second? I want to say right now that we need to get around to closing this down. I'd like to close it out with GE here. So, Nathan, Joshua, I think that this conversation is good to have. I think we should keep it going. I mean, we don't have to keep it going tonight. Let's schedule it for another day. Let's bring you back on and let's keep having this conversation because I think the people like seeing us talk to you.
Can I address one thing?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
All right, the airplane expert that showed up and said Newton proved gravity 300 years before the equation for electrostatic forces
postulated and developed.
Excellent. I want you, please, to tell me Newton's hypothesis.
Yeah, what was Newton's hypothesis?
I think we already covered that the
scientific
method wasn't. I don't think that the scientific method was around the time.
Oh, wait, so Newton didn't scientifically prove anything.
So we can throw Newton out the window?
Great, excellent.
No,
we can't.
Hold on. Okay, so you can that again. Let's go back to let's use your standard of evidence and say that everything that you think is scientific proof, or everything that you think is proof from the Bible or any ancient, Hold on. Listen, I'm not saying the Bible individual. I'm saying any ancient text that you want to use before Newton is now thrown out the window too, because there is no scientific method.
No, that's fine.
You're the only one using ancient text.
Yeah, nobody here has said that.
Hang on. Pause. Hang on. Here's the problem.
Throw out the text.
Hang on. When that line of questioning began with you, Josh, you went towards that ancient cosmology as
he asked me a question and I answered.
All right. So
he asked me if I
guys, that question is all of the bullshit that you guys want to throw out.
Listen,
throw out the text. I don't need the text.
Right, but without those ancient texts, you have nothing. You don't even have a basis. You're coming with a presupposition at that point.
No,
you're making the presupposition that the Earth is flat. Okay, so guys.
Can I say something first? Can I please just say something? Right.
I asked him about the hypothesis.
Please, can I say something? Please.
Does he not have the hypothesis?
Can I say something? Nathan, can I please say something?
Nathan,
thank you.
Give you a second to say what you said. Give a second.
Whether Newton used the scientific method or not isn't really an issue because it was later confirmed using the scientific method.
No, he couldn't have used something that didn't exist.
Show us.
Did you not just hear the words?
That's fine, but we've used the scientific method since then to prove it right. That's what we keep trying to tell you.
Later.
Okay,
guys.
Let me take you through the scientific method. Like Nathan, hold that thing up to your screen. Right, observation. That something accelerates with a 9.8 meters per second squared. Hypothesis.
Wait. Something accelerates. I'm looking at things all around me. Nothing's accelerating. What are you talking about?
When you let go of something.
Hey, hold on. No. Everybody be quiet, because I have the answer to this. Everybody be quiet. Godless Engineer, do you have your phone with you?
Yeah.
Can you pull up that app, please?
When you let go of something.
Hold on.
Yeah, when you let go of something,
Nathan,
Okay, what about
chill
if
out.
something falls
We're about
from
to
a
show
tree?
you. We're about to show you the accelerating
we've
force
completely
that is. Hold
done
on,
away with
listen,
weight,
listen.
and
When you
that's
put
it.
your hand out, hold on, listen. You put something in your hand, right? And do you feel it pulling down? Like when you put something heavier, does it actually pull heavier down on your hand? Yes, it
Does it
does.
weigh
Correct.
more?
Because it's experiencing an acceleration. This is basic physics. If you claim to have any kind of physics whatsoever, you understand that the Newton's first, second, and third laws of motion. Correct? Do you agree with those? First off, as a physicist, even as a closet or as a just a hobby physicist, do you believe that
Were you
the
going
laws
to
of
call
motion?
me a closet physicist? Is that what you're going
Yeah,
to call me?
I was looking for for the hobby. As a hobby physicist, do you agree or disagree with Newton's laws of motion?
Here's what I will tell you.
Hold on. No. Answer the question, please.
Why can't you
I'm
guys
gonna
answer the
hold your
question?
feet, Joshua. We talked about this.
I
I'm gonna
can
hold your
answer-
feet to the flames on this one. So just answer my questions. I have a very basic, simple line of questioning. Do you believe, yes or no, in the laws of motion, as they're defined by Newton?
No.
Okay. Well, then that's a.
Well, then you're
we're
a
gonna
fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Well, no, you have to.
Please, can I get a ding for
Do
that,
I
team?
believe in the
You got
laws
it.
of motion? Yes, I do.
Okay,
You
well,
asked,
then
has
okay.
Newton- has
Wait,
pro-
hold
you know,
on, hold
but
on.
There's more. That's a loaded question.
No, it's not, because I'm telling you
Absolutely.
that things have an acceleration that are constantly being put on them, and you can tell this because you put something in your hand and you feel it going down to the ground. It's at a motion of rest, and if you move your hand, it falls. Okay, so
But
there's
the
a
last
force.
time
Hold
we
on,
just defined-
hold on. Give me 1 second. So when you move your hand, there's a force that's also pulling down on that your hand is impeding while you're holding it up. Okay,
You
so
don't
when
need
you
a force for something to fall to the ground.
at what then?
Right,
then so there's
things don't
special
just fall,
pleading.
they
So there's
accelerate.
special pleading to Newton's first law of motion.
You don't need you don't need something. You don't need a force to cause something to fall to the ground.
Yes,
Right,
to
JM,
accelerate it, you
JM,
do.
wait,
Can I-
team,
can I
please, I got
finish?
this.
Yes,
JM,
go ahead.
let me pose a question to you.
Finish?
Hold on,
me
let him
pose a
finish.
question
Let
to
him
you
finish
first.
first. Let him finish first. Fight the flat Earth, and then you can have your question.
Would you concede that things that are more dense fall to the ground? Yes or no? I've been
That's-
more than reasonable.
Yes, but okay,
Hey,
they
stop.
do.
Stop, let me finish.
Everything falls
Okay.
to the ground, including the atmosphere. So
Then
yes, they
everything.
do.
You clearly.
I need to ask you one very, very simple question, JM. Do
I
things
need to
fall?
finish my freaking point.
Okay,
Yeah,
go
but
ahead.
your point is without me actually getting this from you.
No,
because
it's
I-
not.
Let me
It's
ask.
all-
Let
Polite.
him hold on.
Let me
Let him
finish
finish.
my
Fight the flat
freaking
Earth.
point.
Let him finish. We'll
my
get
God.
to him. I know. Just let him finish so we can address him. Go ahead.
You have
JM.
density and buoyancy. Not everything falls to the ground because things that are more buoyant float. Okay, so density and buoyancy without gravity can cause things to fall to the ground.
No, they can't.
Gravity is
Go ahead.
not. It is just because I have a mathematical equation does not
Right.
prove
Can I
anything.
respond to that then?
Go ahead. Fight the flat Earth. It's on
Okay.
you.
Right. JM. Do things fall or do they accelerate?
Depends on what you drop or the medium you're in.
No, they always accelerate.
Yeah. Things don't just
At the
like
same
go
rate.
at a constant rate when you let them go.
Actually, that's not true.
It is.
That
is
true.
not
true.
Drop a helium
Right,
balloon
JM,
in a solid vacuum.
Please,
and it
guys,
will
let me do
accelerate.
this. Let me have this one. JM, right. When you are holding something, it's moving 0 miles an hour. When you let it go and it's falling, say it reaches 10 miles an hour, it has had to accelerate. Acceleration
I agree.
is okay. So
However,
things don't
wait,
just
wait,
fall.
wait,
No, wait, no, I haven't finished. Things don't just fall; they accelerate. Acceleration
Up to a
requires a
certain
force.
point.
No, not up to a certain
Acceleration
point.
does not
Acceleration.
need a force.
Stop interrupting me, you fucking idiot.
Okay,
Right, please.
hold on. Hey, how
All
about
right,
this?
well,
we're gonna finish. We're gonna finish on this point right
Greg,
here, and then we're gonna
I
shut
have
it
no
down.
problem walking away from this debate.
Don't,
Okay.
JM.
Or this-
Well, you
Joshua,
keep talking over me when I'm
hold
trying
on,
to
hold
talk, and
on,
it's
hold
very,
on.
very frustrating.
Everybody
I'm
chill.
insulted you.
Hey,
Even
everybody chill. Listen, I'm speaking here. Okay, everybody
You're
chill.
insulting me because
Hold
you keep
on,
talking over
Craig,
me.
Please, I'm talking. I don't know how to mute everybody, but everybody mute yourselves, goddammit. And internally, you don't have to mute it yourself on the screen, but everybody shut up for a second because Godless Engineer really needs to get out of here. I need to shut this down so I can go pick my kid up from work. We can talk about this for 10 more hours because there's enough material here to talk for 10 more hours. So we're going to end this here right now. We're going to pick this up next time. When I have a couple of hot dogs and I have an empty dumpster I need to set on fire, we're going to set that fire. I'm going to cook my hot dogs, and we're all going to fucking share and be friendly to each other. But other than that, let's okay, so before we move on, we got one more area of the show that we do it at the end of every Science or Satire show. I'd like to have Godless Engineer involved in this one, so I got to do it now so that he can get out of here. JM or Joshua, you and Nathan are welcome to hang around and participate in this section of the show. It's called My Buddy's an Idiot. Don't expect you to be. You can still stick around, but I don't expect you to participate if you don't want to, because obviously you're looking at a globe-friendly crowd here, so there's not going to be a lot of friendly stuff being said here. But I
don't care.
But hey, it's all about having fun, guys. We're all here to have a good time. I really appreciate both of you coming on. Nathan, I appreciate you again. We really started off with a bad rut, and we've brought me and you out of that horrible rut from the non-sec showing to several good conversations. So I do appreciate you again once for coming on to the show and being civil. I appreciate it. Do you have anything to say for you or your channel?
Yeah, of course. Guys, join the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion. And team, you've been awesome. You are awesome. And I'll never be on a debate with Craig again. He's a child, dude.
Oh, lovely.
Fair enough.
Says the one who has done childish voices on air.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hold on, everybody. I hold feet to the fire. Simple as that. If you can't answer questions, then you lose.
Listen, that was his outro. Everybody, we can have that conversation later. That was his outro.
Cool. Love you guys.
Nathan, you're more than welcome to stick around. Well, I don't know. I think he just dropped, but. All right, so I guess we'll go over to Joshua. Joshua, do you have anything to say before we move on to this final segment?
Sure, guys. It's been fun. Just from my perspective, let's try to keep it professional. I have not insulted anyone on purpose. Man, team, you're awesome. This has been an interesting discussion. I'm not sure that I would appear with Craig either, although I understand, I think, where he's coming from, and I understand how he operates. Come visit me at jamtruth.com or on Facebook. Thanks for having me on, team.
All right, no problem. Look forward to having both of you guys on again in the future. Okay, so everybody, you know what time it is for the show. Godless Engineer, this is our first time to have you on here. So this is a Godless Engineer, My Buddy's an Idiot special. So if everybody, if you will start posting in the live chat starting now, My Buddy's an Idiot because, and we will start reading them out. We'll give you guys about 30 seconds to a minute to get those in, and then we'll start. Let's see. Godless Engineer, what do you think about this segment? My Buddy's an Idiot. If you had one, let's say you get to jump us off tonight, Godless Engineer. You say, My Buddy's an Idiot because. Go ahead.
My buddy's an idiot because my buddy's an idiot because he thinks the Earth is flat.
That's a perfect one.
Perfect. All right, so we have them coming in. So what we'll do, Godless Engineer, AT2, Craig, JM, Josh. I'm sorry, Joshua. Would you like to take part in reading some of these too, or do you just want to kind of hang out?
Oh, I already highlighted one.
Okay,
it was the first one I saw, and it's perfect.
We're gonna start at the top. All right, Jared, you can start. Godless Engineer, we're going to you. Fight the Flat Earth, you. Then me. Then back to Jared. Go, Jared.
My buddy's an idiot because he joined Nathan Thompson's Facebook group.
Go ahead, Godless. You got to read from the chat, bud.
My buddy is an idiot because he wears a white coat to write instruction manuals.
Craig.
My buddy's an idiot because he believes giants mined the moon from the Grand Canyon, filled the rock with helium, and that craters are formed by glass bubbles popping.
My buddy's an idiot because she consumed her own placenta. For natural health benefit. Grr. Leah, stop. We're live. Thanks for the demonetization. Fucking warning ahead of time. All right, back to you, AT2.
We can all get furball for this one. My buddy's an idiot because he confused spark plugs with butt plugs.
G.
Let's see. My buddy is an idiot because. My buddy. Did we read my buddy's an idiot because he's friends with Nathan Thompson?
No, I didn't see that one.
That one's
okay.
you. All right, go ahead. Fight the flag. One day we're gonna get this right. We gotta boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You know how in the military where they say, okay, everybody count off 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you get to one guy and he goes 1, 2, and he sits there and he looks around and goes, huh? And you're like, oh my god, 3, you ass. Okay, so fight the flat Earth. On to you.
My buddy's an idiot because he thinks density is a force.
My buddy's an idiot because he can't even read the equation for gravity right.
My buddy's an idiot. Me, then you, John.
You asses.
My buddy's an idiot because he got a communications degree and thinks he's a scientist now.
All right, G.
My buddy's an idiot. He buys lab coats from the 5 and down to wear on YouTube debates.
Craig.
My buddy's an idiot because he believes negative pressure exists below the decimal place.
Hey, before we go on to the next one, I want to give a big shout out to Joshua here, man. He's taking it like a champ. Joshua, thank you very much, man. I'm going to stop this right now to say thank you. I'm not going to stop it. We're going to finish the My Buddy's an Idiot. But I want you to know before we move any further forward that I myself have a great respect for you, at least sticking around and taking this with the best of us. So thank you very much. I
just want to say it would be the first rousing I got. So
I just want to say, JM, I have nothing against you. I have everything against your beliefs, and that's how I will. I will say it as I see it. If I think you say something fucking stupid, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire for it. Don't think that's me being rude. That's me trying to get to the bottom of things.
And like I said earlier, let's all leave on a good, positive, hey, see you next time note. I believe it's on you, Craig. Keep going. We're right under Mandelbrot set.
My buddy is an idiot because he uses fallacy in every sentence, yet doesn't know what a fallacy is.
My buddy is an idiot, and my buddy doesn't know the angles of an equilateral triangle. Can you guess who my buddy is? He's up for dumb fuck of the year.
Warrior.
He's going to be leading it, and
all
holy
right.
fuck, I hope he wins.
Jerry.
My buddy's an idiot because he thinks parallel lines can intersect to create sunsets.
My buddy's an idiot because he thinks water is an element.
My buddy is an idiot because he thinks an online degree is equivalent to 8 grueling years it takes to get from undergrad to masters. It's fucking hard.
Oh crap! I thought I deleted or muted myself. My buddy's an idiot because he's a flat Earth believer.
My buddy's an idiot because he took part in this fucking dumpster fire.
My buddy is an idiot because he thinks that everyone watching YouTube are dumber than him.
My buddy's an idiot because he doesn't understand why his 60-year-old balls hang lower.
My buddy's an idiot because he believes mass and weight are the same thing.
My buddy is an idiot because he thinks BP gas comes from BP.
My buddy's an idiot because he can't.
He doesn't know what a null hypothesis is.
My buddy's an idiot because he can't convert meters to kilometers.
My buddy's an idiot because he won't let me bang his wife. Ooh, there it is.
Oh, jeez.
My buddy's an idiot because he calls gravity droppity.
No.
My buddy is an idiot because he thinks airplanes run on compressed air.
My buddy is an idiot because he thinks he can prove the Earth is flat just by talking shit about globe Earth.
My buddy's an idiot because he thinks Nathan Thompson will unblock him. Yeah, probably not going to happen anytime soon.
My buddy is an idiot because he thinks 5 minutes off Google is better than shit.
My buddy's an idiot because he thinks a lab coat makes him look smart.
My buddy is an idiot because he won't accept a trip to Florida to watch a launch.
And I'm gonna read the last one. My buddy's an idiot because he didn't subscribe to Team Skeptic's channel. Yes, your buddy is. All right, guys, that's where we're gonna end it tonight. I'm gonna do super chats real quick. Before we get out of here, let me pull those up real quick. And Godless Engineer, man, I appreciate you sticking it out through the entirety of the dumpster fire.
Yeah, I gotta go, but it was great being on here, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome anytime, man.
Bye.
All right, hold on. I'm pulling up super chats right now, guys. All right. Let's see.
Oh wait, there's one more. My buddy's an idiot because he believes Taco Bell use squirting meat tubes.
Yeah, you asses.
So I'll add the last one. My buddy's not an idiot.
No, he is. That's the whole point. You got to say he's an idiot.
Well, I know. I'm just being different.
Oh. All right. Okay, so let me cover the super chats. Aside from having our newest member, Caitlin Chloe, who is I don't care who's out there except for maybe Leah, all the wonderful women who are members of my channel, they're all the most beautiful women on the planet. So thank all the lovely women for putting up with this so obtuse, topic that we have and way we hold our conversations. Thank you very much. Paul Reap, he said, I'll watch this later. I have faith in you. And I think that's where we stopped out on it. Thank you, Paul Reap. He also told me in the thing that he became a $5 patron, as well as he's a channel member. So thank you so much. I do truly appreciate that, Paul, honestly. $2 from Brian Shannon. I beg the question. Yeah, me too. John Chedister. The scientific method doesn't prove anything, it disproves things. And I would say that the scientific method is more of like a way, when the scientific method was developed, it was developed for a very particular reason. It was developed so that people couldn't just say, oh, this is the reason that this occurs. Well, right. There was a time when that was acceptable because you had the science was being run by religion and was being run by so many. It was basically if you were smart enough to say it, then obviously you knew you were right. Or if God had given you. We should get into
that discussion, team.
Well, yeah, and we'll cover that. We'll cover that next time. But that's why somebody said, well, we have to have a way of deciding what is a legitimate observation and measurement and what is confirmation bias, for instance.
Right. Right.
So let's.
Hey, I gotta go.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hey, Joshua, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. You have a good evening, sir, and we'll be sure to get you on in the future.
All right. Craig, I've sort of changed my mind about you, just to say that in front of Team Skeptic. So I don't have a problem with you necessarily. Well, I understand where you're coming from.
Under emotional times when you're arguing in the moment of arguing, it's easy to say things that
it's easy to say things.
Yeah. So that's why I said
I just don't like it when questions don't get answered. And I hope you do enjoy episode 14 of Flurfs Are Idiots because it will be about you.
All right, but JM, hey, and we'll discuss that next time. We'll bring you on so you can argue the points he makes in that video. Okay. If you'd like. But thank you again for joining, and I'll be in touch with you through email.
All right, sounds good, bud.
NANA, Team Skeptic, you are beating a dead horse.
Peace out, Jam.
Yes, I did feel like I was kind of beating a dead horse at times. The Athens 619, who we need to do some VR gameplay together. Joshua, I believe it was Michael. I'll just say JM, so I don't want to misrepresent him. JM is a physicist the same way Kent Hovind is a doctor. Yeah, agreed. Ken Hovind's not a doctor. He can claim doctorate all he wants, but he's a doctorate of, if anything, fecal observation because of the amount of bullshit he spits out.
Well, and just remember, his doctoral thesis started out with, "Hello, my name is Kent Hovind."
Yeah, not a good way.
Hey, team, you're far too nice to these flat earthers, man.
Yeah, I am. I am because I want to keep having the conversation. I think that there's plenty of times when we can all get together and talk shit amongst ourselves, but there's not enough times when we can bring them in and have a real conversation, whether they're right or wrong. I don't believe they're right. I don't think Joshua's right. I don't think Nathan's right. But
the thing is, it's not a conversation because they don't answer questions. They will pose a question to us, and we will actually give an explanation as to why it's wrong and give a counter argument. Whereas if we ask them a question, they just go, I don't need to answer that because it's not science.
Well,
and that isn't how you have a conversation, and that's why I get so frustrated with them.
No, hey, believe me, you're not the only one getting frustrated over there, because I get frustrated too. But the thing is that we can't have that conversation without, if we continuously when we get the opportunity, if we just berate them inside of the thing, they're wrong. We know they're wrong, right? You can agree on that, correct? I mean, it's obvious. All three of us right here, me, you, and Jared, we can all agree that the flat earthers are wrong, right? So now what we can do is we can either try to get them in here for about 5 to 10 minutes, make fun of them as much as possible, and then they're gone, and we're back to having our conversation with ourselves. That can be entertaining, but I think that the audience would like us to actually see the conversation. See us have the conversation. Can they explain what we are telling them? No, because to explain what we're telling them is admitting that the earth spins and that it's a globe. So we're coming in knowing that this is going to be this type of conversation to begin with. So we just have to accept it and keep pushing through their bullshit, put their feet to the fire, make them answer those questions. And you're right. I mean, we got to make them answer those questions,
Yeah. And that's the thing. Nathan will run away going, oh, I'm not going to be in a debate with Craig again, because he knows that I will hold his feet to the fire. He knows that I'm not going to let him just shout fallacy at everything. And he knows that I will call him a fucking idiot.
Well, and his true colors showed during that when he said, oh, I'm not going to do it because Craig's too childish. Mind you, this was the first show that I've seen him on where he didn't denigrate into a mocking childish voice himself.
Well, and that's the reason why I'm nice to them. You'll never find me. My content creation will always be more of the abrasive, upfront, in your face. My live streaming is always going to be more of the let's have a conversation. And I don't let them slide with it though. I don't let them just get away with saying stuff like, mass is equal to weight. I absolutely will call them on that and say, no, this isn't. We're going to have this discussion, because I don't believe that mass and weight are the same.
Yeah, and that's where just think about when I had that conversation on non-sec this past Friday with why you are an idiot. Early on, I let him go because I was just feeding him rope. It's like, oh, you want to go down that road? Okay, here, have a little more rope. Because I'm of the mindset, I will give anyone new, like anyone I don't have an established history with, plenty of rope. What they do with that rope is on them.
Right.
It's just the unfortunate bit that the majority of them choose to hang themselves with it.
Well, let me get through the super chats, and then we'll get back to the general conversation. Rapid X for €5.49. I think I got that one right. €5.
Yeah, that's euros. Well done.
Boom. Please make them explain the difference between mass and weight. Last time he kind of failed on that. We didn't get a chance to address that. I had it in my notes to be addressed, but we ran out of time. So we'll address that with them again, because that's something that's, again, basic physicists should not have a problem understanding the difference between mass and weight. Even hobby physicists, people that just understand the basics of physics, the basic laws of motion, they would understand the difference between mass, which is unchanging, and weight, which changes based on force. Thomas Miller, $9.99. I'd rather drive Russian vids from Cali to Florida without a radio than listen to JM. Yeah, I feel you, Thomas. I feel you. We all have our moments where we have to listen to the static in the background in order to have a good time, and that's basically what it devolves down to, is listening to static on the radio to get us from El Paso to Los Angeles, where there's no radio. So, one nerd verse, I guess, because I don't think it's on a nerdvs, so I think it's one nerd verse. If super flurf senses are so good, then build a house without a tape measure, level and square. Yes, exactly. You have to use highly sensitive equipment to measure the things we're talking about. This is why we don't use our senses argument in anything in physics, because of basically what I was talking about on the checkerboard. Inside of a frame of reference, you don't know what you're doing. You can't agree with anybody else that you're moving at a different speed than they are, because you don't know. Everything around you is moving at the same rate. In your reference frame, everything is together. So you can't use your senses in that situation. Why should you be able to use your senses to build a house? Davis Gentry for $5. Newton's laws of gravitation was published in 1687, and Coulomb's law was published in 1785. I believe Fight the Flat.
Yeah, I was off.
Or was that you that covered it, Jared?
I brought it up, and I was off by a couple hundred years, and that's the thing. I even, when it came up in the chat, I said, oh, no, I was wrong. I was off by a couple hundred years, but it's still that fact that Newton predated Coulomb.
Isn't it amazing
immensely.
how we can all admit when we're wrong?
Yeah, and I was just about to say that too. I said the scientific method was somewhere around 1500. I wasn't even sure about that. I was just trying to guess. I just knew it was a while back. I'm not sure when. I believe it was Francis Fried Pork developed it. I think that's what we're going to go, because I can't say bacon without my mouth watering. See, there you go. My Pavlov experience. My Pavlov response to the word bacon. Thank you, they and them, who continuously puts bacon in everything. Like every time my first comment is always a bunch of pictures of bacon. It ruins my show because I have a watery mouth for the rest of the time. Willie Merck, $9.99. Nathan Thompson, planes correct for Coriolis via magnometers, GPS, and instrumentation for the heading flight control system. Also keep the noise pointed correctly. And to confirm USAF jets do this, quit guessing. Yeah, so with the invent of the electronic flight systems, right, with the invent of GPS, we have a more accurate way of traveling through our skies. Believe it or not, back in the day, they used to paint directions for postal planes so that they knew how to get back to, New York, to LA, or to the next postal whatever. Okay, so they didn't have these instruments back then that already took into account for. They would just fly, find a marker, and go towards that marker using their visual reference point at all time, making their own personal corrections. They were still dealing with the Coriolis force. They
didn't realize they were doing it at the time because
Right.
they were going purely off visual markers. And that was something I was going to bring up, is because even during World War II, the navigational methodology was still just that, visual-based dead reckoning, which is why it was exceptionally rare for any of the military operations to be done at night, because they only had a handful of aircraft that actually had the required electronics in their primitive form to allow for accurate enough navigation at night.
All right. Now I'm going to keep going with the super chats. We'll come back to that because that's a good point. Chris Kelling for $5, and I'm going to change his. I'm going to alter his super chat, because his super chat says, "I'm an idiot," but I'm going to read it the right way. My buddy's an idiot because he missed the beginning, Mr. Chris Kelling. Thanks, sir. I appreciate it. No, thank you very much for your super chat. I always enjoy having you in the chat, and I do honestly and truly appreciate you, sir. Another guy, one of my absolute favorite subscribers, MA2 Fletcher Eisler, not just a member of Ding Force, but also top tier patron, also purchased a shirt, and I don't have the shirt. I have your picture photoshopped up. It's CGI, guys. I have it photoshopped up. I just don't have it ready to put out right now. So, because I'm adding another subscriber who took a picture. I'm going to put y'all's pictures together and make a badass thing for the end of my next video. Thank you very much, sir. My buddy's an idiot because he wants to prove the sun fake by staring directly at the sun. PSA, don't stare at the sun, guys. Okay, flat earth, round earth, doesn't matter. Don't sun gaze, okay? You will go blind. Wesley Smith for $10. When are you guys going to make these flat earthers show a flat earth model that works with time zones and why the sun sets? We just can't zoom in on it and make it come back into view. Wesley,
have you developed immortality yet?
Yeah, because the thing is you can't build a model around something that doesn't work. This is another reason why, like, I feel like we got to approach these guys differently in the live chat or in the live streams. Because they don't, it's so obvious they're wrong because they can't make a single prediction based on their model, based on their beliefs. Mm-hmm. No predictions can be made. So to expect them to do anything but waffle on or deflect or, make fallacious claims or whatever the case may be, that's just us being unreasonable with our own selves. To expect them to come with a model, to expect them to come with any actual proof, that's unreasonable on our behalf. That's why, like, I'm almost to the point where I'll debate people about, like, specific things like gravity or Coriolis or, very specific scientific matters. But as far as the shape of the earth, there is no debate. until they can show me, until they can take a positive position that can make any predictions whatsoever, they're just blowing smoke out of their ass. And that's the scientific viewpoint. This is why scientists don't debate flat earthers. This is why you'll get flat earth being taken seriously up until the CNN or headline news level, but it never goes
If I can say something on that, team.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am interviewing George Musser, who is the author of the article that Sleeping Warrior keeps quoting. And a lot of Sleeping Warriors fans are saying, oh, well, why isn't George Musser speaking to Sleeping Warrior? Well, the reason why an actual scientist doesn't want to speak to a flat earther is because they don't need to. They know what shape the earth is. The only reason George Musser is speaking to me is because he wants to defend the article he's written, but he's got no interest in talking to a flat earther. Absolutely none. And I don't see why any scientist, actual proper scientist, would ever want to speak to someone who is so low on the intellectual scale.
Let me give an analogy of what you're saying. Okay, George Musser is the equivalent of a medical doctor. Fight the Flat Earth is the equivalent of, let's say, like he's a patient, right, or the family member of a patient. All right, and then we have Sleeping Warrior over here, who's a voodoo doctor. Now, the medical doctor has no problem talking to Fight the Flat Earth, okay? Hey, George Musser's not going to have a problem talking to him. He's somebody who wants to understand, wants to get more informed, wants to understand the doctor's position. That if he was to say, well, we're talking about this, addressing this voodoo doctor over here who believes that she can stick forks in the ground and that will keep you from leaving the house, that doctor's going to lose interest in any conversation with that voodoo doctor. It's a whole different level of thinking. It's one that has struggling with basic concepts of science, and one who's using science to develop future technologies for us and explain observations and phenomenon that we are actually dealing with, not the voodoo side of it, the real side of it, the real science side of it. So I don't blame him for not wanting to talk to Sleeping Warrior. That's just like a real doctor trying to explain how voodoo is fake.
However, he will be addressing the points that Sleeping Warrior has brought up. And if you guys want to see that interview, it will be on my channel on May the 20th, which is, I'm going to do a bit of shilling here, the start of my Sleeping Warrior week.
Yes.
Where I will be absolutely destroying Sleeping Warrior all week long. The Monday is interview with George Musser, which is the person he keeps citing. Tuesday is the roast of Anthony Riley, where we're going to get a bunch of you awesome guys on and give everyone 15 minutes each to just call Riley an idiot as much as you want.
You meant that kind of roast?
Yeah, not the one you were thinking of.
Well, shit, I'm going to have to list that industrial-sized smoker then.
Wednesday is Sleeping Warrior's second episode of Flurfs Are Idiots. Thursday is Sleeping Warrior's promo for Dumbfuck of the Year 2019. Friday, Sleeping Warrior, for some reason, has agreed to debate me again. And then on Saturday is Project Aristophanes, which is a joint project between me, George Musser, and currently about 300 other people to measure the circumference of the planet across the American continent. Also during that week, there will be a 5-part series by Bob the Science Guy dissecting my previous debate with Anthony Riley. So Sleeping Warrior week, my channel, May the 20th. It's going to be fucking awesome.
As Tau Ceti Alpha put it, interesting.
Yes. And if you want to get one of these interesting t-shirts that I'm wearing, it's in the chat now. Shiel?
Yes. Okay, so we have a few more super chats to get through, and then we'll do our closing arguments. True Blue for 5 Aussie bucks. Ask them to tell us why the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn are not the same length on the flat Earth. In reality, they are both 36,788 kilometers. Yes, and guys, I will 100% back every good YouTube channel. There's a great one out there, Cool Hard Logic. He breaks all the geometry of the flat Earth and how wrong it is. He breaks it down on his channel. Like I said, CHL Cool Hard Logic. The Testing Flatards playlist. Check that out. Great content. And with, by the way, everybody, you better already be watching Tau Ceti Alpha's full retard mode.
Godfather.
Yeah, the godfather of all this comedic debunking that's been going on. Okay, and then we have Aussie Globehead for 20 Aussie bucks. Here's your weekly 50 cents. I'm convinced that Aussie Globehead works for NASA, guys. Convinced.
Oh, he does?
You're convinced.
Oh, shit, I'm not supposed to say that live.
No,
sorry.
I mean, I don't know.
People don't none of us work for NASA.
Yeah, and people don't listen to me, so nobody will hear that. But yeah, man, I think he works for NASA, bro. He shills me up all the time. Thank you so much, Ozzy. You are an absolute beast in this community. I believe Ozzy put in $50 to our charity stream. By far the highest donor, and thank you so much, Aussie Globehead. Honestly, man, whatever charity that this goes to, I'm sure they're going to appreciate that. And Paul Reap, again, another. I don't know. You said you were leaving for a little bit, Paul, and I'm not sure if you heard it, man. But I did say thank you very much for becoming a new patron as well as a channel subscriber. So thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much.
Hey, let's give Jose JG Gonzalez a quick shout out. He was the 4th ex-flat earther that I interviewed, and now runs a daily globe discussion group, which is way better than anything Nathan Oakley's ever done. So if you guys haven't checked out Jose JG Gonzalez, definitely do that, because he has got some observations that he did when he was a flat earther that proved the globe. And you know, funnily enough, he became a globe earther because the observations he did with the camera that Jeranism gave him.
Oh my God. Jeranism gave him that camera?
Yeah, Jeranism gave him a P900, and then he took a bunch of observations and then realized it was a globe.
Interesting.
Thanks, Jism. Appreciate you.
Yeah, Jose, man, you are brilliant. Don't stop doing what you're doing, because you are bit by bit stealing Nathan Oakley's audience, and that's fucking hilarious.
Okay, we have a last-minute super chat. Wesley Smith would love to see if these flat earthers, would love to see if these flat earthers really believe the Earth's flat. Would they take a lie detector test? Bet most wouldn't. Yeah. Oh, that's my phone. It's ringing way over there. Okay. How about this? Fight the Flat Earth. You'd handle that question, and I'm gonna take that call.
What was the question?
Thanks for listening.
So Wesley Smith was asking how many flat earthers really believe this. Would they take a lie detector? And I'm with him. I don't think most of them would, especially the ones who run channels that actually have a financial interest in this. Jism. I really don't think they would, because why risk the revenue flow?
Mm-hmm. I mean, let's face it. Whether Jeranism and Bob agree with the documentary that they were in, you can quite clearly see the fact that in that documentary, Jeranism proved to himself that the Earth has a curve. I mean, there's no way of saying that didn't happen, and there is, at the same time, even though Jeranism 100% knows that the Earth is a globe, there is no way he could come out and say it, because he's got like 150,000 subscribers. Yeah. He gets like $6,000 a month on Patreon or something. There's no way he could stop.
Hey, guys, listen. I love both of y'all, and y'all know this. In fact, everybody in the chat, I want you to know something. I love you, right? But that was my son calling me. And I do got to go
Major
get him.
homo.
And I do got to go get him. So what we're going to do is we're going to end this all out. Fight the Flat Earth. I'm going to give you a few moments. Or actually, we'll go with... we'll Fight the Flat Earth. You go first. Yeah. We'll give Jared the last say in the thing. Go ahead, Fight the Flat Earth.
Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Team Skeptic and I's new channel, Science or Satire. And also, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'll have a new video out tomorrow. It was going to be out today, but I had a bunch of power cuts, so that got in the way. And I've got a collaboration with Planner Walk coming up this week as well. And obviously, if anybody wants to help out with Project Aristophanes, send an email to fighttheflatearth@gmail.com with the header Project Aristophanes. We need people in Montreal, New York City, California, and Lima, or anywhere along that kind of longitude. That is able to, on May the 25th, measure the angles of the sun and broadcast it to my channel.
All right. Now, before we get to you... Oh, first off, you said something. You said Team Skeptic and his new channel, Science or Satire. And I need to correct you. It's not about me. It's our new channel.
Did I not say our? I meant
you
our.
You said his, and we're correcting that because there is no Science or Satire without you. Okay, you need to understand that. As long as you know that going in, the channel will be successful. Okay, because I absolutely need you, and I'm just cannon fodder. I will jump in front of.
I'm the beautiful face.
You're science. I'm satire. So you hit them with the facts, and I'll take the return fire to my face for you. Okay. But let me get these last two super chats because they're coming in, and then we're gonna do Jared, and then I gotta go. Mike, $5 from Mike. Show how Australia model on the flat Earth is wrong. Yeah, exactly, Mike. They don't want to ever address that. That's like huge, right? Like the size of Australia, because on the globe model, it shrinks as it gets closer to the or the distances between lines of longitude shrink as they get closer to the poles, not expand. And in the flat Earth, it's exact opposite. Sorry if I'm answering that real fast. I got to get going. Hi all from New Zealand. Hashtag Team Cunt. Yes, hashtag Team Cunt. Big shout out to Red's Rhetoric. Big shout out to Jared, who we're going to kick it to him in a second. Go ahead, Jared.
Well, for those who aren't aware, AT2 Productions here, we do a bunch of shit over there, which if you want to get away from the idiocy for a while, Friday nights we do veterans chats where we talk about anything and everything. Yeah, we occasionally talk about the stupid, but honestly, it's kind of a respite away from that side of things. Along with AT2 Moto, which I've been playing with some stuff on the bike. I've changed out some stuff, so there's going to be videos coming in the next week and a half about that. So,
good. I'm a big supporter of the AT2 Productions channel. Fight the Flat Earth and I are on there regularly, as pretty much you're seeing a bunch of veterans in here, and that's what's awesome about this. We're all veterans. We all have done our time in military jail, basically. One more damn super chat. $10. TIG Loken 16 666. Hell Satan, boys.
Illuminati.
Okay, done, guys. I gotta get going. I need to leave in like 4 minutes, and I still gotta shut this down and grab my keys. So, as I say, if you're not already subscribed to AT2, if you're not already subscribed to Fight the Flat Earth, if you're not already subscribed to the channel Science or Satire, what is wrong with you? Go subscribe now. This episode will be uploaded on that channel. You can go back and watch it later. But other than that, man, we love you guys. If you're watching this later and you're not, if you're watching this later, like, subscribe, share, put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, put it everywhere. Let people see this so that they don't fall victim to the stupidity themselves, okay? Because that's what we're here to do. Fight the Flat Earth. What are we here to do? What are we fighting tonight?
We are fighting the flat Earth.
And what else? Stupidity.
Yeah.
Daily we fight stupidity. Hit the like, hit subscribe. The way the word is good said so. And outside of that, let me find my thing so I can end this at a good way. I have a video on relativity coming up soon. Hopefully. Yeah, phrasing. All right, so at the point where I can stop the stream. So, guys, I love you. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you at the next show. I believe our next Science or Satire will be on Craig's channel. So be sure to head over there, like, subscribe, and join. I'm Father Skeptic, and I'm out.